Let's get a reminder of the teams. Lotatalis in goal for Doncaster. Back four of Sterry, Anderson, Wood and Maxwell. Bailey and Craig in midfield. Molyneux, Rowe and Adelican, with top scorer 24-goal Joe Ironside up front. Doncaster in their red and white hoop shirts and black shorts. Crew in their change kit of predominantly black but with light grey markings on the front of the shirt. They've got Stryek in goal. Billington, Turns, Dimitriou and Adebisi. Long, Thomas, Tabiner and Rowe, with Tracy and Nevitt up front. And just a quick word about the fact that the Alex haven't got a substitute goalkeeper tonight. Nikolai Lenachik, only 17, the regular under-18s keeper, was on the bench for the first leg. They've had problems with goalkeepers. Harvey Davis and Tom Booth injured. They had to get Stryek in on an emergency loan from Wickham. It's always a gamble when you haven't got even a 17-year-old who knows what he's doing on the bench.
Yeah, and look, I'm never saying to go and purposely seriously injure a player. I'm not saying that. But
I'm glad you're not saying that.
If I'm playing a game as a centre forward, you're getting round him, you're making sure, you're getting crosses in the box, peppering the keeper. And if there's a 50-50 to be had, you go into it when you know that there's not obviously a keeper to come in and replace.
Scott Oldham's a really excellent lower division referee whose career's in the ascendancy. He's taking charge tonight. Was the referee the last time that Crewe won a game? That was at Morecambe last month, although he did send off their midfielder Lewis Lee. Well, it will be the most unlikely promotion English football's ever seen. For the bottom five to Wembley in 2 months, the Doncaster dream is as vivid now as it was inconceivable 9 short weeks ago. But can Crewe end on his long unbeaten run by rediscovering their own form in the nick of time to salvage their season? We're underway. Crewe kicking from left to right. The north stand away to our left-hand side houses supporters from both clubs. Everywhere else it's all Doncaster fans. Crewe will be kicking that way in the second half. They're just on the front foot here, but Jamie Sterry can allow the ball to run out of play. That'll be a goal kick which will be taken by Timothy Lotatalu, who was sent off at Gillingham on the final day of the regular season. It was the most deliberate handball you've ever seen, but the red card was rescinded, a little bit controversially. I think, for what it's worth, correctly, because the shot wasn't going in. It was a deliberate handball, but I think it was a yellow card offence rather than a red. It wasn't how many saw it made. That was the decision that was made. Lotatalu available to play both on Monday and tonight, and he's got the ball at his feet again here. The Frenchman on loan from Hull, he drives it forward. He's got a prodigiously long kick. Adelican chasing after it, won back in the midfield by Cruz Thomas, and then chipped forward over the top, which will be chased by Nevitt. Doncaster able to return it, and then the veteran old campaigner Richard Wood is there, black headband in operation again tonight, which he just adjusts, having headed the ball away. The 38-year-old veteran at the heart of the Doncaster defence. Aside from them, just across the road in Rotherham over the course of the summer. A couple of minutes gone, 0-0 here on TalkSport 2. 2-0 to Doncaster on aggregate. And I'm delighted to say alongside me is Courtney Sweeten.
Yeah, and it's going to be interesting in terms of what Lee Bell said before the game, speaking about his Crewe side, that not to get carried away too quickly. And I think that's probably a similar message to the Doncaster players from Grant McCann, because yes, you're in front, so you've not got to go out with the impetus to go and score. You're probably excited, you know that it's going to be a sellout. You want to give these fans a real game and opportunity to watch you score free-flowing goals, but actually if you do that too quickly, put too many bodies forward and Crewe get an early goal, it gives them that confidence that they don't really need and you don't need to give them. So it's just about, for both teams, I think, being calm and composed in this first 5 or 10 minutes.
Plenty of experience in the Doncaster back line. They've just moved the ball from the left-hand side of it to the right, out towards Sterry, who won a National League playoff final in his Hartlepool days. I'm still heartbroken about that. Ball played forward by the Doncaster back line. It would just drift out of play for a throw that will be taken on the Crewe left-hand side by Mickey Dimitriou, their captain, player named in the League 2 team of the season, who's got a really decent long throw on him, but it's going to be much more a potent weapon when they're much further up the pitch than they are now. Stryek clears towards halfway. Donny win it back. Adebisi will just watch that one out of play for a throw that will be taken over on the Crewe left-hand side. Throw taken back for Dimitriou again. Will take a touch, roll it forward and then drive it towards the edge of the penalty area, but it's gone over Nevitt and all the way through for Timothy Lowe-Tatala.
Yeah, and I think Doncaster are certainly choosing their moments. You're watching the first leg and they go for the high press, nearly get caught out actually early in the game, and Tracy for me has got to square that ball, but that's where that experience, that game management is so important. Yes, you can press high and go and win it when it's on, but you don't need to put yourself into trouble when it's not, and that's the thing, if you pass the press and you put bodies forward and jump to press it, can leave you in a vulnerable place, and Donny don't need to do that right now.
Crewe playing out from the back with Turns, who's on loan from Brighton, finding Billington, driven forward down the near touchline, which is the Crewe Alexandra right. Donny appealing that the throw is theirs. The officials saw it the other way. Thomas will come across to take it. Just throws it back for Ed Turns. Turns, who's back in the side tonight after missing the last 5 games with a knee injury. He was on the bench for the first leg, but back at the heart of the defence tonight. Crewe making 4 changes, which is probably an adequate summation of what Lee Bell thought of their performance in the first leg. The ball is flicked on now and driven inside the penalty area. The first side of goal sees an effort fly over the bar from Taverner. It's taken a deflection on its way. And the first corner of the night is Crewe's. They'll take it on the left flank. We play 5 minutes here on TalkSport 2.
Yeah, and industrious down that right-hand side, really. It wasn't anything of massive quality, but the fact that Rowe just keeps going, manages to get himself on the ball. It's a good cutback as well. Or initially Tavernier, that was him flying over the shot, but obviously takes a deflection on the way.
And he'll go across to take the corner. He hasn't seen too much action over the last 6 months or so. It's only his 5th start since the end of October. But he'll take this corner. It'll be a left-footed away swinger, very, very deep. Dimitriou coming round the back, has scored. Advantage Crewe Alexandra, and the fans away to our left-hand side in raptures. 5.5 minutes gone, and is the unlikely fight back on? Great header from Mickey Dimitriou. Might have taken a deflection on his way through, but Crewe lead by a goal to 0.
I'll tell you what, Jim, there's going to be inquest around the mark in there. It's far too easy for Dimitriou. Starts more towards the centre of the goal and just peels around the back. It's a decent ball in, don't get me wrong, but there's not a lot of pace on it. It's quite floated in. But this is where Dimitriou, this is just about a willingness to go and attack the ball, to get something on it. He's ever so well, as I say, times he's run well in terms of how he arcs it round the back, and then lifts himself to attack it really well, and it's the worst possible scenario for Donny this, because now it sets it in the back of your mind. You're thinking we were 2-0 up, early goal for Crewe, they've got the confidence, and you just feel the hush around the ground now.
Well, it's a hush around the ground, except for the travelling 1,500 or so from Crewe, who are in the left-hand side of the north stand as we look at it. A red smoke bomb has been thrown onto the pitch. That's just kicked away by Stryek back towards his own supporters, so that the smoke is blowing in their faces and not his.
Referees tell him off, because what happens before the season, normally you get things about telling you what you should and shouldn't do, and one of them is kicking pyrotechnics off. You're meant to leave it to the professionals, but he obviously just wants to get on with the game.
Well, there's no sign of any professional coming to deal with it. I can see where he was coming from. He's still blowing away. Nobody's batting an eyelid. The stadium staff are completely disinterested. 6 minutes on the clock when the goal went in, and Dimitriou is centre-half, scoring his 10th of the season. He's been an excellent acquisition since signing from Newport, with whom he lost a League 2 playoff final. But has he scored the goal that is just giving Crewe a little bit of hope? You know, there have been 6 occasions in the past when a side has overturned a deficit of 2 goals or more to reach a playoff final, and 3 of those 6 have come when they've been away from home in the second leg. Last come back from 2 down in a home first leg to win a playoff semi-final away from home was Northampton at Cheltenham in this division 4 years ago. Even the other night, back on Tuesday, a fantastic comeback from Barnsley, albeit in vain in the end, but they were in a position that they needed to score 3 goals to get the game at Bolton into extra time. They got 2 of them. Playoffs has got a history of the unlikely. Crewe hoping to add the latest chapter to that. The Doncaster just calming the nerves. They've got a free kick, which is about 25 yards outside the Crewe penalty area. Adelican stands over it. Lee Molyneux, who scored the opening goal in the first leg, has come to take charge as well. He'll be the more likely player, you would imagine, to sweep this in. Left-footed towards the edge of the penalty area. Richard Wood amongst those forward for it, and the offside flag is up over on the far touchline against him. It's a free kick which will be taken by Crewe inside their own penalty area. 9 gone, Donny 0, Crewe 1. It's 2 on the Doncaster on aggregate.
I mentioned before the game, didn't we, speaking about Donny's areas that you can attack those wide areas. It's another one that they've conceded now, a header, corner from a wide area, and actually that stoppage in play, I know that's come over from the Crewe fans, that pyrotechnic, that flair. If anything, Crewe really wanted to get on with it. They'll want to push, and that stoppage in play has maybe just helped Donny a little bit, just settle the nerves and try and get themselves together.
Yeah, just to reiterate the point that you made before the game, Courtney, no side in the division have conceded more goals from corners this season than Doncaster. Crewe scoring from their first. And they're on the front foot again here with Tracy towards the edge of the penalty area, waiting for the pull-back. Shot comes in from distance. It wasn't too far away. Well worth an attempt from Long, but unable to wrap enough of his right foot around it. It goes wide of Lotitala's post, but it's all Crewe. They lead 1-0 on the night. Yeah,
it wasn't bad, and it was initially was facing goal, so he had to swivel quickly. Gets good power on the shot in the build-up as well. There's a lovely little nutmeg in there from Rowe to set it up.
Lotitala taking this goal kick. Billington can watch it out of play. Here's Billington, who played on the right of 3 centre halves in the first leg, playing at right back tonight. Just take 2 or 3 steps forward. That goal that Dimitriou scored, only the third that Crewe have netted in the last 9 games, which is another reason why so many people thought that it was almost inconceivable that they would be able to take this at least to extra time tonight. Going to have to double basically 8 matches with the goals in the 90-minute spell against the most informed team in the country, but they've got the first of them. There's Aaron Rowe. He stopped because he thought a free kick was going to be given against him. It wasn't. Now it's chipped over the top. Tracy's offside though. Lotitala came out gathered anyway. The run from Shallow Tracy just a little bit too early. And Doncaster in a hurry to take the free kick to get the game restarted again as they look to restore their aggregate lead of 2, which has been halved in the early stages of this game. Ball play forward down the left-hand side by Tommy Rowe, but he got the angle wrong for Adelican. It goes through for Stryjek, and we played 11 minutes here on TalkSport 2. Here's Courtney Sweetman-Kerr.
Yeah, and I think Crewe playing 4 at the back definitely suits them more. We saw that change in the first leg, and when you think about the threats of Doncaster in those wide areas, probably going into a 4 is slightly easier because you always then forfeit those wide areas when you play a 3, and certainly easier for me for Crewe to mount and attack forward.
There's a poor challenge on Lee Molyneux, which the referee has ignored. The Doncaster player that was still down. Molyneux's getting back to his feet now. There will be a Doncaster throw in a left back position to restart play. The collision happened in the centre of midfield. Throw's going to be taken on the left hand side by Maxwell. James Maxwell, the former Rangers man, launched forward, headed on by Ironside. Ironside trying to get in round the back. Scored a winning goal against Newcastle in the FA Cup a few seasons ago, back in his Cambridge days. Ball worked forward by the Doncaster midfielder Bailey, but straight through to Stryjek. The winners of this tie are going to be playing either the MK Dons or Crawley at Wembley. Crawley 3-0 up from the first leg of that second leg. Tomorrow night here on TalkSport 2, kicks off at 7:45. Then the League 2 final takes place a week on Sunday at 3, and that is also live here on TalkSport 2, League 2 playoff final. Doncaster or Crewe against Crawley or the MK Dons. A week Sunday, 3 p.m. here on TalkSport 2. You're home with the EFL. 500 live games over the course of the campaign on the TalkSport network. So much more to come. Important Premier League action coming this weekend as well. In a few minutes' time, I'll remind you of what is coming up. It's Crew work the ball forward here with Elliot Nevitt. It's cleared. Brought down on the right-hand side of the midfield by Billington. Billington playing it forward for Nevitt, but it's gone over his head and drifts out of play for a goal kick that Lotitala will take. They haven't panicked Doncaster in the 6-7 minutes or so since conceding the goal. The Crew having the best opportunity to score the second goal of the night, though they're still on top and they will feel that they deserve the lead through the opening 13 minutes.
Yeah, certainly so, and I think Doncaster have been disappointing going forward. There's obviously a little bit more urgency in their play. In terms of when they do win the ball back, it's something that's pumped forward a little bit like that situation there. Delican makes the foul, but every ball that seems to come forward seems to be under-hit, over-hit. They just can't find that in between at the moment, and that's because of what's happened in the game and the urgency, but they certainly need to settle down a little bit.
Delican, the player that's given the free kick away, just outside the D. Strike is not in any real discernible hurry to take it. Everybody goes over towards the left-hand touchline. He's just going to hit it into an area here, see who can win the seconds. Ball launched over in that direction. It bounces once. A couple of players in the midfield battle, not too sure where it had gone. Will be picked up by Aaron Rowe. Out towards the left-hand side. Tracy's waiting in the middle if they can get it across to him. They almost could. Flicked off on the edge of the penalty area, and Lotitala can make the save. As a shot comes in from long, he's forced to dive and tip it around the post for another corner. Remember, they scored from their first one.
Yeah, it's a really good passage to play. Rowe has looked really bright early on, hasn't he? And then when it goes into Shiloh Tracy, cute little touch, just almost like a little Cruyff flick back into the path of Long, who does really well. It's a bit of a bouncing ball, so does well to keep it down. Lotitala just has to make sure, I'm not sure, maybe it was going wide, but he made sure anyway.
So Taberner's going to go across to take the corner again, and Demetriou, who's on the other end of that combination for the first goal, has just gone and had a word with him as he goes over to take it. This time, Anderson, the Doncaster defender, is doing everything he can to try and detail Demetriou. So Demetriou walks back outside the penalty area and to make a later run in from a deeper position. Four in the line, four Crew attacking this. It comes in, Richard Wood heads it away. Comes outside the penalty area. Crew able to win it back. Go back to the right back Billington. And now play forward, good ball down the right-hand side of the penalty area. Chance for Long to get it in, and it's slid in off the post for two. They've done it again. What a start this is for Crew Alexandra. 16 minutes on the clock, and they have wiped out that first leg deficit. Nobody saw this coming.
Wow, what a passage of play. So Demetriou again, by the way, gets free at that back post area. It was just lucky initially for Doncaster that the ball wasn't good enough into him. But then in the second phase, what a reverse ball this is to Long, by the way. It's inch perfect, the run is perfect, and then you've just got to put it across in an area. Not sure if it comes off last, whether it's a defender, whether it's a Crew player, but either way, they don't care. It's in the back of the net. They've got the deficit back. It's 0-0. It's all to play for, and it's a fantastic start from Crew Alexandra.
They've scored 2 goals in 8 games. They've now scored 2 in 10 minutes to double the advantage. Doncaster 0, Crew 2. This is a Crew side that have only won 1 of their last 10 games. They've lost 7 out of 13. They're playing a Doncaster side who've won 8 in a row here, who've only lost 1 of their last 19. But the scoreline, in the blink of an eye, is 2-0 to Crew. Well, the Railwaymen have had a few points failures in the last couple of months or so, but the signals are pretty good for them here. Ball will be driven down the Doncaster left and watched out of play by Billington, and all of a sudden this playoff tie becomes a 73-minute shootout.
Yeah, and I think they've played it perfectly so far in terms of they've not put too many bodies forward, they've not been too expansive, they've been very, very good from the set pieces, one from the first phase and one from the second, and they've not panicked. And actually, yes, they've played well. That little reverse ball in was a bit of quality. I think Doncaster equally will be really disappointed in himself. And you asked me before the game whether the occasion might get to him, Jim, and I really think it has so far.
Well, the goal has been officially credited as a James Maxwell own goal. So Demetriou on 6 and Maxwell own goal on 16. It was a really good quality ball in from Shiloh Tracy that made it. But the boos are because there are 2 balls on the pitch as Doncaster are preparing to take a throw, wanting to take it quickly, but another ball came back onto the pitch. They will take it now. Here's Rowe trying to win a corner of his own. That's come off Billington and goes out of play for a throw that Maxwell will take, pushing forward down the left-hand side for Donny. A looping throw towards the Delican. Good turn from him and trying to get away from Thomas. Challenge was a fair one on him. Nevitt comes back for Crewe. Maxwell would have, beg your pardon, slides in and puts it out of play for a throw that will be taken by Crewe at Alexandra. Doncaster haven't had too many tests of nerve over the last 2-3 months in the middle of this extraordinary run. They've got a colossal test of nerve here.
Then they've got to respond. It's as simple as that. There's no second chances in the playoffs, and you mentioned the quality of that ball, Jim, and that's important. Sometimes you've just got to find an area. Shiloh Tracy does ever so well, and it's sometimes you can be too precise, but in there it doesn't matter who it comes off. If you put it in the right area, it can cause chaos, and that's exactly what Crewe did.
Lotitala drives it forward. It's headed back by Demetriou towards halfway. Let me tell you, we've got a game on here. 2-0 to Doncaster in the first leg, 2-0 to Crewe inside 20 minutes of this second leg. The last twice that they've played against Donny, they have been beaten by 2 goals to 0. So Lotitala playing it outside the penalty area here for Anderson. Anderson out to Jamie Sterry. Sterry was sent off against Crewe last season. His ball played forward. It's a little bit panic-stricken, and Crewe are able just to bring it back under control of the back with Demetriou, and he'll find his goalkeeper, and Strike will play it forward.
I just think that they're really struggling going forward, Donny, in terms of Delican or Molyneux, the players that you want to mention. We haven't, just because the balls forward into them haven't been good enough, the build-up hasn't been patient enough, and it's also credit to Crewe in terms of changing their shape and being really hard to break down today.
They've certainly looked more comfortable playing with the back four. It is a 4-4-2. I mean, they basically emptied the midfield in the last 20 minutes of the first leg the other night to go 4-2-4. Didn't work for them. It's really worked tonight. Now Delican with a very optimistic crossfield ball, looking for Sterry, 60 yards away. He's fired it straight over his head as he's fired one from the left-hand touchline over the right-hand touchline without a bounce. It'll be a throw that will be taken by Crewe.
Back from in his final third as well as Delican. So you're looking at that as Crewe and thinking, brilliant, that's exactly what we want. He's in an area where he can't hurt us.
Crewe trying to get the ball forward again. Taberner has got it down towards the corner flag. He's come off him last, out of play for a throw that will be taken on the Doncaster right-hand side. I mentioned that the last comeback from 2 down in a home first leg to win a playoff semi-final was Northampton, and 2 other sides have managed it. Yeovil did it at Forest. Just the thought of Yeovil against Nottingham Forest in a playoff now, some 17 years on. They were separated by 5 divisions this season. There'll be 4, possibly 3 next. But Yeovil did it. They won 5-2 at Forest in a League One game in 2007. Bradford had done it at Blackpool the year before, 11 years before that, back in 1996. But that shows how rare it is what Crewe are having to try and pull off tonight. But I don't think any of the 3 sides that have managed it came into the second leg as out of form as the Alex have tonight. Now a long ball is played forward. Nevitt is chasing. He's given a little shove to the ground there by Wood. He complains, but more in hope than expectation. He was about the only one that did in a Crewe shirt. And Richard Wood's going to be able to bring it away here.
Massive amount of experience, isn't it, from Wood? In terms of, yes, he nudges him. He's making sure that he puts him off balance, but not enough for the referee to be able to give it as a free kick.
Young Matthew Craig, the Doncaster midfielder, picks up the ball. Maxwell, the scorer of the own goal, takes a throw and then is given a real old-fashioned body check on the near touchline. He stood his ground and ended up on the deck. It's going to be another throw which will be taken on the Doncaster left-hand side. A good home record, 5th best in the division, Donny. Their away record only mid-table. Another collision now off the ball. That's involving Nevitt. Ball still out of play with Doncaster waiting to take this throw. And Nevitt is just plattered into Craig. What colour's the card going to be? It's yellow. Now that was on the advice of the assistant referee on the near touchline, Connor Brown. So don't believe that the referee, Scott Oldham, can have seen that. Even out of the corner of his eye. The assistant had a really good view of it and never gets a yellow card.
Yeah, drags him to the ground as well with it. And Nevitt is lucky in the sense that if he connects with the face there, he's off. It's as simple as that, and obviously he gets seen. But at this point in time, Yukuru Alexandra, there is absolutely no need to get involved in that sort of stuff. Just let the Doncaster players get on with it and lose their heads. But the last thing you want to do, you get yourself back into the game on level terms over the aggregate, and then you get a player sent off, would be absolutely ridiculous.
Here's Anderson playing in 4-4 Doncaster Rovers into the Crewe Alexandra midfield. Matthew Craig's got it now. The youngster on loan from Tottenham. He's played it out towards the left-hand touchline. Wasn't the best ball because Billington read it, and he will be able to play it forward. Shiloh Tracy taking on Craig, who came back to effect the block. He goes out of play for a throw. And more signs of nervousness that are permeating through this Doncaster midfield. Understandable with the situation that they found themselves in so early on. The likes of Matt Craig, only 21. He's got very few miles on the clock, only a couple of dozen senior appearances in his career. It's understandable the nerves are playing a part tonight. Billington taking this throw. And Nevitt coming to meet it, the barrel-chested striker. He's won another throw that'll be taken again on the Crewe right, midway inside the Doncaster half. We've just gone past the midway stage of this first half. 24 minutes gone. 2-0 to Crewe against all the odds. Good value for it as well. They played really well. Billington playing it forward, knocked away by Wood, the heart of the back line. And another player takes a tumble in the midfield. Play's allowed to go on. It was Ironside that went down. Lee Molyneux's got the ball over on the right-hand side for Donny. Placed up by Adebisi's got the ball inside the penalty area, but it's easily headed away by Demetriou. It comes back down towards the left-hand side for Adelican. And Adelican with the opportunity to run at Billington. And he's dropped his shoulder, trying to get outside in. And Billington blocked the cross well. The Doncaster get their first corner of the night.
First time we've really seen Adelican on that left-hand side, get the ball at his feet and try and run at a player, try and beat someone. But I tell you what, Billington does ever so well. There's twists and turns in there, but he doesn't watch the player, he watches the ball, stands tall, doesn't get caught out and makes a vital block.
25 gone, Doncaster 0, Crewe 2. It's 2-2 on aggregate. Delican's going to take this corner. It's a right-footed in-swing and very, very deep. Far too deep to be a good delivery.
There the moments as your centre-halves, you're absolutely livid. You're under so much pressure. You've got the opportunity to put a good ball in the box, attack it, and then it just completely misses everyone. It's really poor, but that is the pressure showing that the Donny players are under at the moment.
You're listening to Doncaster against Crewe in the EFL League 2 playoffs on TalkSport 2 with McDonald's, or the McDelivery on the McDonald's app, and get tasty rewards points. 18 plus, terms and conditions apply. Championship playoffs begin this Sunday. Got a bit to live up to after the excitement of this week so far. We've got a double header of first leg action over on TalkSport. Norwich facing Leeds before West Brom hosts Southampton, and they're at 12 and 2:15 respectively this Sunday on TalkSport. Second leg to those games Thursday and Friday next week, both kicking off at 8 again over on TalkSport. Here on TalkSport 2, Maxwell's got the ball for Doncaster, who are 2 down. Adelican getting it forward, Ironside taking in touch, getting a shot in, winning a corner. Well blocked by Demetriou. That's much better than Rovers.
Well, great play from Adelican, and that starts from him in terms of the middle of the midfield and just easing Tracy off the ball, excellently using his strength. There's a little 1-2 in there as well. The little ball into Ironside is good. It's always going to be difficult to take that down, get the shot off, get it round the defender, but it's better play from Donny.
They've got another corner. I'm sure the delivery won't be worse than the first one. Adelican is going to take it. He's got the option of going short to Craig, but he is going to fire it in himself. It is a better delivery. It bounces on the edge of the 6-yard box. Nobody can get a touch, but they're trying to get Anderson isolated. against his marker. It's Adebisi that I think has been picking him up so far. The first corner was overhit, but Anderson very nearly got to it. That one was a much better delivery. Vicious in-swing, just a little bit too much kill, but again, Anderson causing problems.
Yeah, it was a lot better ball, and it's the other way around. The last corner would have been the centre halves having a go, saying that ball wasn't good enough. Now it's the other way around. The corner takers saying, look, if I'm putting balls in like that, you've got to get on the end of it.
28 gone, 2-0 a Crewe, 2-2 on aggregate. Richard Wood pumps the ball forward. The referee had spotted an infringement before it got there. A little bit of finger pointing going on. Wood, the most experienced man on the pitch, only just most experienced man when you bear in mind one of his teammates is playing game number 650. He's actually only 9 ahead of him. Wood, the 38-year-old who's once scored twice in a playoff final in his Rotherham days. He also won the playoffs 19 seasons ago, half his life ago, with Sheffield Wednesday. Hoping to make it a Wembley triumph with 3 different, a playoff triumph, because I think that Sheffield Wednesday one was in Cardiff, but a playoff triumph with 3 different South Yorkshire clubs in his career. Maxwell plays it back to the aforementioned Wood, who'll just work it forward. Headband in place to cover up a couple of facial wounds that he's picked up in recent weeks, which both needed stitches. He's very proudly displaying them before the game. The ball is over on the Donny right with Molyneux. They'll play back through the midfield for the lively Craig. Craig out towards Molyneux, who knew he was going to get upended as soon as the ball came through to him there, and he got caught, and it's going to be a free kick to Doncaster. We welcome listeners from Talk Sport with the unexpected news that the most informed club in the country are 2 down at home inside the opening half hour tonight. The 2 Crewe goals came on 6 from Mickey Dimitriou, and 10 minutes later James Maxwell, in trying to clear a really good cross from Shiloh Tracy, put it through his own net. When he had to play the ball, he was under pressure from elsewhere. It would have been a tap-in had he not made contact, and that gave Crewe a 2-goal lead to tie things up on aggregate inside the opening 16 minutes. Courtney Sweet-McKirk's watching the game with me. Courtney, they're really good value for it as well.
Yeah, and they've done it in terms of still being calm and composed. They've not just flooded bodies forward and potentially left themselves open on the counter-attack. They've worked themselves into the game through the first goal. It was a decent enough delivery from the corner, but that's just about the willingness of Dimitriou for me to try and meet the ball, gets good contact on it, and then the second goal is the second phase of the corner. And as you mentioned, it's all about the ball across from me, just putting it in a dangerous area. The Doncaster players, they have to get themselves in there, try and defend it. It's unlucky for them that ends up being an own goal, but Crewe are certainly massive value for the 2-0 lead so far.
Well, it was a game arriving here at the Eco Power Stadium tonight where it didn't appear to be laced with jeopardy when you had a look at the respective form lines of the 2 teams. Let me tell you though, with an hour left in this second leg, at least an hour of normal time left, but there's so much jeopardy in it. Most significant moment of the night lies ahead of us on TalkSport 2. Courtney alongside me for the full match commentary, which continues over on TalkSport 2. You've got the app, you can easily swipe left and swipe right and keep up to date with everything that is going on. Delican firing a long ball in here. Molyneux's done well to be able to bring it down, but second touch is won by Adebisi, the left back for Crewe. And commentary continues over on TalkSport 2 with Crewe Alexandra leading 2-0 on the night. It's 2-2 on aggregate. And an opportunity now for Crewe to bring the ball forward. Long getting inside the penalty area. He's looking for Nevitt. Low to Tyler, the goalkeeper, can come out and easily catch it, only about 3 feet off the ground. Came out and caught it comfortably, and Doncaster will be able to bring it forward. In the 15 minutes in which Crewe scored the 2 goals, their possession advantage was 60-40. And in the 15 minutes since, the possession has been 65-35 in Doncaster's favour. They have been able to get a foothold in it now.
Yeah, and you can see they're actually playing through the thirds now, and in terms of those players who spoke about, Delican and Molyneux in those wide areas, they're having more of an influence on the game. Delican actually keeps dropping into the middle to try and get on the ball and causing a few issues, so Donny are starting to look more like themselves.
Ball is found inside the penalty area and headed away by Billington. Doncaster got a third corner in the last 6-7 minutes or so. And Delican will come across the take-in, and again there's just an extra ball on the pitch for a moment. The referee's been alerted to that and will, whilst keeping an eye on everything that's going on, just come across the side foot that spurious ball out of play. Doncaster have scored in each of their last 19 games, so Crewe will certainly feel that the job to get this to extra time isn't done yet. They'll feel that they will need another, and that Donny, on the back of a great goal scoring run like that, will certainly feel that they got the artillery to get themselves back into this and get the aggregate lead. Delican's going to take this corner, but again is asked just to wait because the referee wants to deal with the pushing and shoving that's going on. Stryett, the goalkeeper, has been completely surrounded. Red and white hoop shirts all around him. He's got absolutely no chance of getting out of that very congested 6-yard box, when you bear in mind that he's got 5 of his own side in there as well. It's a real crowd scene inside the 6. Delican now is asked to move the ball back and actually spot it down correctly on the quadrant, because he hadn't, and he probably just about has now. The referee's decided that it's good enough. So, belatedly, will it be worked away? And Delican takes the corner in towards the near post, and it's headed away almost towards halfway, where Donny will run around it and be able to bring it back under control. Ball's work back for Sterry, the right back, the deepest of the outfield players for Doncaster. He pumps it forward long, and Strike races to meet it, pretending that he's going to come out and catch it, lets it sail over his head, knowing it's going well wide, and out of play for a goal kick. 11 to go to half-time. It's raced by. Doncaster 0, Crewe 2 here on TalkSport 2.
Yeah, it was another good corner from a Delican on the left-hand side, right-footed, in-swinging, bags of pace on it. But Crewe do really well in terms of, you mentioned it, in terms of how many bodies they were putting around the goalkeeper as well, so it's always a difficult one, but cleared it excellently well. And you're looking at the scoreboard now as a player and thinking, right, we just need to get through to half time. That's the most important thing right now. Then Crewe, they can go in and regroup, and obviously for Donny, conversely, in an ideal world, they want to try and halve the deficit on the night if they can before half time.
Back to last night and the Europa League tie between Bayer Leverkusen and Roma, the exact same situation, where Leverkusen had won the first leg 2-0 away from home. They got all the form, unbeaten in 48 as it was then. Roma scored the first 2 goals of the night, and all of a sudden the shock is on. Form eventually came through, and Leverkusen maintained their unbeaten run to break the all-time European record of 49 games with a goal from Stanisic in the 7th minute of stoppage time. I'm not suggesting that this game's going to pan out the same way, but it is inevitable that Doncaster are going to come back into it. But there's just something about two-legged knockout football. The playoffs, the most fantastic footballing invention known to man.
Yeah, it isn't. It just makes you look at the game very differently. Normally as a footballer you're just thinking of the 90 minutes, but it throws something completely different into the equation. But Donny have certainly looked better in the last 10 or so minutes, and are getting better as the game goes on, but there's still a long way to go.
There is a long way to go. 10 minutes in this first half, another 45, then potentially another 30, who knows, depending on what happens. But the situation as things stand right now, good ball down the right-hand side of the Doncaster midfield from Bailey, finding Lee Molyneux, got a chance to run it out of BC, and he didn't let it past him. He was really good defending that from the Crewe full-back, who stood his ground. Rio out of BC, both sided every league game over the course of this season. And Lee Molyneux couldn't find a way past it. Ball is cleared. It goes out of play for a throw that will be taken on the Rovers right by Jamie Sterry. Sterry, one-time Newcastle youngster, throwing it back for Richard Wood. And Wood will take a touch with his left foot just outside the centre circle and play down towards Maxwell. If you're just joining us here on TalkSport 2, Crewe 2 up inside 16 minutes. Mickey Dimitriou, a header from a corner. Corners have been kryptonite for Doncaster all season. Mickey Dimitriou was able to exploit that frailty again, and then 10 minutes later a good ball played in as Delican at the other end might be able to get in here, and ends up getting a corner as a ball over the top, and Delican got between the last line of the defence and the keeper. Wasn't quite able to get an effective shot in the first time of asking. Took a deflection, and then when he did wrap his right foot around it, Strike made himself big and put it out of play for a corner.
And he looked like he was going to break free about 4 yards out, didn't he? But I think Dimitriou as well was involved and did just about enough to make it difficult to get the shot off with any sort of purpose.
8 minutes to go to half time. Doncaster's 4th corner in the space of the last 10 minutes or so. This time it's an away swinger from Molyneux. Flagged it up towards the far post, headed down into the ground. Nobody there to win the seconds other than Stryak. And the goalkeeper will just get good safe hands behind it. Kill a little bit of time. He'll wait for his crew teammates to get upfield and bowls it out towards the right-hand side for Billington. Lewis Billington, just 20 years of age, and only made one start in his career prior to December. He's played a long ball forward here, and Rowe chases after that, and thought he'd won a corner, but the referee's assistant was really well placed, and it was a double ricochet. As Anderson made the challenge, he just flicked it back off Rowe, and he goes out to play for a Doncaster goal kick.
Yeah, he did really well there, Anderson. The way that Rowe gets his first touch in, takes the ball down with the outside of his foot. He looks like he's got the beating of Anderson. He stands tall, does really well, makes the sliding challenge, and then you get a little bit of fortune with the double ricochet.
Adelakam playing forward through the midfield. Maxwell caught from behind. It's Chris Long with the challenge, and he's going to get a yellow card. 6th of the season for the former Everton trainee. So he's the second player in the book for crew tonight, and it's a free kick which Doncaster will take. Got a lousy disciplinary record, actually. Crew, one of the worst in the division, and 2 yellows inside the first 39 minutes tonight. But other than those, a couple of disciplinary blemishes, it's been a really, really good performance from Lee Bell's team. Had won promotion a couple of times through the playoffs in the past. 1997 under Dario Gradi, and again in 2012 when Bell actually made his final appearance for the club in that playoff final, which they won. 12 years on, will history repeat itself? Lee Bell hoping to lead from the front this time. Tactically, he's got everything pretty much spot on tonight. Ball played forward by Lototala, the Doncaster goalkeeper. A little bit of a skirmish in the midfield. Rowe battling with it. Sterry will get it back for his goalkeeper again. And Lototala plays it out the left-hand side of the box this time for Maxwell. Maxwell put under pressure by Long, but he can just clip it over his head in towards Ironside. There's a very good defending by Ed Turns, who came to meet it. Now Sterry forward looking for Molyneux. Well read by Adebisi, and he can bring it forward towards halfway. Left-footed ball clipped over the top. Nevitt will chase that, and Lototala comes out to catch it on the edge of the box, and we're within 5 minutes of half-time.
Yeah, I think that's where it's breaking down for Donny at times. So initially playing out from the back, they seem to play through the midfield quite well, but when they then have to recycle the ball and maybe think of something different to do, the ball ends up being long because they vacate the midfield space and there's no one in there to play to, so it's quite difficult to then try and play through the thirds. And the way the crew have defended aerial duels so far, they've done it really well, so they're getting no joy when they're playing that ball over the top, Donny.
And that was another illustration of that, because Anderson went long, about 50 yards forward, and tried to turn the crew back line, and Ed Turns, who's not as tall as Ironside, but he's marking, but he got the better of him and just strong enough to let the ball run out of play. Well, the award-winning game day exclusives back tomorrow as Manchester City aim to go back to the top of the Premier League table by beating Fulham. Build-up starts at 11 ahead of a 12:30 kick-off at Craven Cottage. Then Game Day Live will bring you all the goals as they go in for the Premier League and the Premiership, plus a classified results service at 5. And Burnley will be relegated if they lose at Spurs. That game live from 3 on TalkSport 2. Spurs' defeat in that game seals Villa's Champions League place. Villa themselves back in action Monday night at home to Liverpool, and we'll bring you that game as well. That's live from 8 here on TalkSport on Monday night. We've also got the big games in the Premier League Tuesday and Wednesday for you. And of course, the final day of the Premier League season will be covered in depth with the award-winning Game Day team next Sunday, a week Sunday that is. Long ball over the top here from the crew back line. Too long for Shiloh Tracy, who got a creditable assist for the second goal with a brilliant ball in the Maxwell turned into his own net. The ball goes out of play this time for a goal kick that will be taken by Lototala. The party atmosphere has stopped, I think it's fair to say, although there is a big black and white beach ball that continues to get thrown around. Darren Bent's eyes are lighting up just at the very thought of it, but that's being tossed around in the home fans in the south stand away to our right-hand side at the moment, but it's much, much quieter than it was in the first 5 minutes of the game. Understandably so. Crewe's still leading it by 2 goals now with 2.5 minutes to go to the break.
Yeah, and I think, the fans around us, some of them moving now, just want half-time. They're probably going to go to the concourse. But you're right, that atmosphere before the game has dissipated, and that's all credit to Crewe as well. I think sometimes we look at the home team or, the team in front on an aggregate score and think it's all about them, but you've got to give Crewe the credit to the way they've changed it. Obviously changed the formation a little bit at the back. They've been really fastidious from the set pieces and got the demands from that, and it's the same from the defending as well. Everything that Donny have thrown at them so far, they've stood tall.
Wood running back in the midfield. Bailey will have it out towards Lee Molyneux. Doncaster getting Molyneux more involved in the game now. He's got Sterry making a run outside him. Sterry will fire it inside the penalty area. Flick header, well saved. Strike died away to his right. His handling was good. He's got no margin for error. If he didn't catch that, he's going to fall Ironside's way. But that was much better from Doncaster as they look to halve the deficit and get the aggregate lead back going into half-time.
Well, you're right, Jim, and that's what makes that save all the better. The fact that Ironside is in there. He's just waiting for that ball to drop and to get a tap in, but does really well to keep hold of it. And that's what you want from your keeper, to come and get balls like that, to come and command their area and be strong.
Ball has gone out of play for a throw that will be taken on the Crewe right. Billington are told to leave it because Dimitriou will come forward to take it, and this is, as you were detailing earlier, a real potent weapon for Crewe Alexandra. Dimitriou was given the ball by Billington. He said, no, I don't want that one. I want a drier one that has been on the cone. He's not allowed to use towels these days. It's a long throw in from Dimitriou. He's got such a good long delivery on it. It's well headed away by Wood. But what he can do, like Rory Delap used to be able to do, it's not just the distance, but it's the low, flat trajectory. It's a skidding delivery that comes in from Mickey Dimitriou. But it didn't work in Crewe's favour on that occasion. Adebisi with a very good defensive header for the Alex. Helped on by Tracy. Doncaster win it back. And then 50-50 in the midfield between Thomas and Tommy Rowe. And the ball goes out of play for a throw that will be taken on the Donny left-hand side by Maxwell. Just a seconds to go in the first half. Probably a couple of minutes to be added on, I would guess, at the end of this first period. Find out in a moment. The fourth official, Tom Kirk, has the numbers board in his hand. 3 additional minutes to be added. So throw will be taken on the Crewe right-hand side. This one on halfway, though, so Billington will be allowed to take this. They'll just try and make progress down the touchline. It's all about just seeing out these 3 minutes now as far as Crewe are concerned. Billington got a decent throw on himself. Headed forward towards Nevitt. Run back by Adelican, who's clipped it over the top. Chested down by Ed Turns on halfway. Volleyed back by Craig. Trying to get Ironside in. Turns deliberately ran across him and stopped Ironside getting a run towards the ball. Turns then went down. The referee thought he went down far too easily. I think he was right. Adelican picking up the pieces. Urged to shoot. Oh, he does shoot, and he's really close. That's Doncaster's best moment of the game. 25-yard shot, and it only beat the bar by about a foot. There'd have been massive post-mortems from Crewe had that gone in, because they felt that Ed Turns was fouled in the build-up.
See, I agree with you, Jim, and the referee. I don't think that's a foul. If a defender's going to come across you and not even attempt to win the ball, then for me it's fair game. So if you lose out, that's your own fault. The play goes on. Adelican does really well in the fact that he gets this much power on the shot when he's still moving across the box, as you say, 25 yards out, but he's moving across to the right, so to be able to get that much power on it, I tell you what, it wasn't far away.
He's got 13 goals this season, Adelican. 9 of them here for Lincoln before he moved here on loan from the Imps. Here's Adelican again. Doncaster fans thought Ironside was fouled. Now the ball is played forward for Ironside, and he stretched out a right leg, but couldn't bring it under control, the through ball, and it rolls through for Stryak again. But ever since Mickey Dimitriou scored his 6-minute header, this has been fascinating, and it remains that way for all the fact that there hasn't been too much in the way of goal-scoring action the last 20 minutes, really. Crewe's chances have dried up. They've only had 2 shots on target. I think Doncaster have had the last 6 attempts of the game. But Strike Apart from that one that just beat it from Adelican, hasn't had a difficult save to make. What he has had to do, he's done very tidily. We're in the final minute of first half stoppage time as Sterry plays it forward through the Doncaster midfield. Now Tommy Rowe. Down towards the left-hand side for Maxwell. Rowe continues his run forward. As Maxwell looks up, all he sees really is a sea of black shirts, because Ironside, Adelican and Molyneux, all pretty isolated figures, the three, not much in the way of support for him. Sterry will get it in here, but that's a really poor cross from him, and may well be the last touch of the first half as it sails out of play for a goal kick.
Yeah, it's poor from Sterry, because he actually does well to fashion half a yard, and Doncaster players, they've flooded that box. It's probably one of the first times they've actually done that in terms of flooding the box and wide areas. It's been more pot shots than Adelican, obviously having that really good opportunity, but very much wasted due to the lack of quality of the ball in the box.
Well, strikers made sure that the clock has run over the prescribed minimum 3 minutes, and this will be the last kick of the first half, which has been dominated by Crewe Alexandra. They haven't read the script ahead of what you would imagine is going to be a tense, dramatic 45 minutes second half. Doncaster red and white hoop shirts, black shorts, Crewe in all black with plenty of light grey on the front of the shirt. We're back underway. Night beginning to fall here in South Yorkshire. It's much darker at the start of the second half than it was at the end of the first. The floodlights doing their job very effectively now as Doncaster try and get on the front foot right at the start of the half. Ball played in Stryak, beg your pardon, can make a comfortable claim. We're 30 seconds into the second period here on TalkSport 2 in the company of Courtney Sweetman-Kirk.
Well, it's a positive start from Donny. Yes, it comes to nothing, but I think that's one of Grant McCann's messages will be to get at them. I don't think they did that enough for me. Donny, they didn't get at Crewe enough in that first half, and they've got to now start to put them under the pressure, start to doubt, make them doubt the 2-0 lead that they've got.
As always here on TalkSport and TalkSport 2, we are extremely unpartisan, playing everything down the middle, although one of our number is in the away end tonight with the Crewe fans. I thought I saw the floodlights shining off Dean Ashton as he was celebrating, but he will be in there, and knowing Dino, he will be giving it large. He'll be delighted by what he's seen so far. The rest of us are, I assure you, strictly neutral. Doncaster 0, Crewe 2 the score. Demetriou with a header. And it's headed back by Anderson towards the halfway line. Headed back then by Matthew Craig for Doncaster, but Long is able to get his foot on the ball. He's played it into the feet of Rowe. Rowe has done really well under duress to come away in the heart of the midfield battle there and play it out towards the right-hand side. Ball is slightly forward by Billington, but Doncaster can knock it away. Ironside comes to meet it. Ed Turns hasn't given him a yard of space all night and stuck with him there. And the referee again said that a collision between the two was just a genuine racing accident. There was nothing in it, no foul. Certainly wasn't what Grant McCann thought, and he's making that point now to anybody who'll listen down there in terms of the officials. Ball's gone out of play. It's going to be a throw that'll be taken by Crewe on the left-hand side. Now we played 47 minutes, it's still 2-0 to Crewe as it's been now for the last half hour or so.
Yeah, and going back to that with the referee, credit where credit's due. You might not always agree with the decisions, but what I will say is the referee's been consistent, and I think that's always important. That's what you want as a player, for the referee to give decisions consistently, which he has done so far.
He's had a good game. Scott Oldham out of BC, taking the throw towards the edge of the penalty area. An opportunity for a shot from Shiloh Tracy, but it was easily blocked. Play forward now by Billington. Back out to Tracy again on the right flank. Man whose cross provided the second goal. Better ball inside the penalty area this time. Richard Wood heads it away, and then that did look like a push out of BC. With a foul on Lee Molyneux, and it's a free kick that Doncaster will take in their right back position, level with the edge of their own penalty area. Both league games this season won by the home side. Donny beaten Crewe twice in the last 8 weeks, both by 2 goals to 0. The two sides whose paths have crossed quite a few times in the recent past. They were both relegated from League One together a couple of years ago, and didn't come close to really making a challenge for the playoffs last year. Finishing in the lower to mid-table, but this year 5th and 6th respectively. Long ball launched forward. It was well flipped on by Ironside, but nobody was making a third man run past him. And the ball goes into the hands of Max Stryjek, away to our right-hand side. Goalkeeper signed an emergency loan from Wycombe. He's yet to keep a clean sheet in a Crewe Alexandra shirt. He does so today. Then, at the very least, we'll be going to extra time. We're going to extra time, or Crewe will be going to Wembley. Or both, potentially, of course. The ball's out of play for a throw that Sterry will take. He goes back for Anderson. Anderson to his goalkeeper, Lo Tatala, and all yellow tonight. Right-footed ball driven forward towards halfway. Flicked out towards the right-hand touchline by Rowe. Brought under control by Tracy. Tracy put under duress, lays it back to the halfway line where it's just turned forward by Demetriou, and a low flat delivery that bounce was awkward for Sterry. He did well to read it. Now it's played forward towards Ironside. Ironside goes back the way that he's facing towards Anderson. Neddick puts the pressure on the goalkeeper, Lo Tatala, but he can easily cycle it out towards Wood. And Richard Wood will bring it forward here for Doncaster, who are still 2-0 down. Yeah,
and Nevitt will be disappointed because you've got to make a decision. If you're going to press like that, you send forward. You've got to take everyone with you. And in terms of that communication, didn't get it right there. His teammates didn't come with him.
Delican plays the ball straight down the left-hand touchline to nowhere in particular. And Crewe have got it back. Stryjek with a long clearance. Finds a way through. Retreating Delican, mopping up, and then instructing Wood that the goalkeeper is on. Wood instead went to Anderson. Anderson fires a long ball forward, and the flag comes up. And in fairness, Bailey knew straight away that it was going to come up, as he just had a look. He hadn't got himself back in time for when the ball was initially played forward. That was the problem that he faced. By the time the ball got to him, he had two defenders goal side, but his starting position was just a little bit off. It's going to be a free kick that will be taken about 10 yards outside the penalty area by Stryjek. Crewe leading 2-0 on the night, 2-2 on aggregate. I think it bears repeating. What they tried to do tonight has only been done 3 times in playoff history, and that's come as an away side after a home defeat to win a playoff semi-final away from home, where they're at least 2 goals down from the first leg. At the moment, they're on course to take it to extra time. Ball's gone out of play for a throw that Taberner is... Well, he thought he was going to take it, but the referee said that his was the last touch, so Sterry will take it instead for Doncaster. No real discernible change to the pattern of play in the second half. If anything, Doncaster have just retreated into their shells a little bit more. They're struggling to get the grip of the game in the midfield that they did in the last 5-6 minutes of the first half.
Yeah, they had that initial really positive start in the first minute to go forward, but actually you're right in terms of it's a bit bitty, it's a bit all over the place, but if anything, Crewe are probably the side that have looked a little bit better, but the fans have sort of found their voice again and really trying to push their team forward.
Now another free kick's been given against Doncaster for a foul in the centre circle. And Delican asked the question of Scott Oldham, the referee, and so too does Joe Ironside on his way past. Ironside 24 goals this season, 6 in his last 6 games, but hasn't really had even a sniff of a chance tonight. They haven't been able to work the ball into the right kind of areas to bring the best out of him so far.
No, the only opportunity he's really had to even touch the ball is just a long ball forward. He's trying to get the flick on for other players, but even when he's fighting to get the flick on, then no one's actually gambling on the third man run, so no one's making that. So it's been a really difficult night for him so far, and it's not of his own doing.
Doncaster fans getting behind their side. Adebisi taking this free kick. Played forward towards the edge of the Rovers penalty area, but knocked away by Craig. Young Billington will run round it and work it to his left-hand side for Thomas. Played forward over the top towards Rowe. Rowe trying to get a low ball inside the penalty area to test this Doncaster back line again. That one was cleared easily enough by Richard Wood. It's put out of play for a throw that will be taken over on the Crewe right. You're listening to Doncaster against Crewe in the EFL League 2 playoffs on TalkSport 2 with McDonald's, or the McDelivery on the McDonald's app, and get tasty reward points. 18 plus, terms and conditions apply. Stryjek going long again. Nevitt taking a tumble on the edge of the penalty area, trying to make something out of literally nothing. I think Wood's just making that point to him now. Nevitt back on his feet, and Doncaster will bring it forward again. Got it in the midfield here with Craig. Right-footed ball chip forward by Bailey, cleared by Demetriou towards halfway, and then a missed kick in the midfield by Bailey. Doncaster crew are able to bring it forward again just for a moment with Adebisi. Now the ball loops up out towards the right-hand side for Aaron Rowe. And it's all got a little bit scrappy. Crew will get their foot on the ball in the midfield with Thomas. And he will play that towards the left-hand side for Adebisi again. Ray Adebisi running at the Doncaster back line, dropping his shoulder, trying to get to the byline, wins a corner, which is the first that Crew have had since about the 10th minute of the game.
I'm just watching Chris Long there. He doesn't look comfortable at all. He played the ball forward and pulled up a little bit. He was hopping. I don't know whether it's a bit of a tweak in his calf. It could be cramp. It's been a long season, but he certainly doesn't look right. So it's one to keep an eye on, even though he is taking the corner.
It is the first corner of the second half, and it will be taken in front of those 1,300 or so Crew fans away to our left, taking their place in the crowd tonight of just a shade under 13,000. Corner is taken short. And then a right-footed ball worked in by Chris Long is easily blocked. Long ball over the top from Doncaster, trying to get a Delican away. It's a horrible bounce for Tracy, and he read it really well. Not the kind of position that, as a forward, he would normally find himself in, as the last man defending. And the Delican breathing down his neck, but he kept his eye on the ball, and he powered his header back to his goalkeeper, and strike will build from the back.
Yeah, all the more impressive, as you say, not used to being in that position. He's got the Delican bearing down on him. You've got to get it right. You know, you make a mistake and you leave your goalkeeper one-on-one, so it's really good defending from the forward. Doncaster
coming again with Lee Molyneux. Trying to take on Adebisi to the byline, stands up a right-footed ball towards the far post. There's nobody there. It's run straight through the penalty area and towards the other side where it's been kept alive. And another great ball in. Adebisi heads that one away. Nobody there to attack it. The delivery of the second one was masterful. And then as the ball bounces in the midfield, Anderson sticks his foot up to try and meet it. Nevitt ducks his head in to try and meet it. The referee says it's dangerous play by the Donny centre half, and it's a free kick to Crew.
Yeah, and I don't mind that initial ball, by the way, either by Molyneux. I think it hits a good area. Delican, yes, he's coming a little bit shorter to try and attack the ball in a central area, so that means one of your midfielders has to go and join the attack, or Maxwell's got to get up there quicker.
Crew are going to be making a change, and Josh Osterfield, who's on loan from Huddersfield, who's actually made 4 appearances in the Championship this season, is going to be coming on. And it looks as though they might also be bringing Matusz Holicek on as well. Holicek has been left out of the starting lineup today after a career best 7 successive starts leading into this tie. Ball thrown inside the penalty area, a good low left-footed delivery from Tabiner. A lively Aaron Rowe is able to bring it under control. Back down towards Adebisi. His ball in towards the near post, and it was a miss hit. But it was very nearly a dangerous one, because it had the danger of coming into Lototala at Yorker length, and potentially as he dived down going under his body, but he scooped his hands underneath it to make a comfortable save. So the double change imminent for Crew. It'll be interesting to see who they take off, whether it is going to be Long, whether he has got a problem, whether he's one of the two that is going to be withdrawn. Doncaster will work the ball through the midfield here, but they've lost out. Tommy Rowe can't hold it up, so not getting too much joy at the moment. Tracy was back to defend, and then Crew with a free kick as Thomas goes to ground, and here Courtney is the double change. So Osterfield is going to be the first player that is going to come on, and he'll be replacing Tabiner. So Josh Osterfield coming on for his 20th appearance of this loan spell. And the other change will indeed see Long withdrawn, and Matusz Holicek, the Slovakian under-19 international, who only played 3 senior games in his career before this season. So he's got another 30 behind him now. He will come on as well. So Two swaps in the midfield. Osterfield and Holycheck on for Long and Taverner.
Yeah, I think Long was on a caution as well, wasn't he? So it's probably a little bit of a double whammy. If he's not fully fit, you've got to think about added time as well, extra time rather. So yeah, those two, I think, options, just probably best to bring him off.
And the change is made just before the hour mark. And Long gets the high five from his manager Lee Bell. Lee, who once actually played in an 8-0 win for Crewe against Doncaster back in the day, back in 2002. We're also going to be seeing a change for Doncaster very shortly. Kyle Hurst is going to be coming on. And is he going to be the only one? He gets an encouraging pat on the top of the head from his manager Grant McCann. And Hurst's going to be coming on at the next break in play. Ball is with Doncaster in their left back position. It's worked forward towards halfway, but well won back by Thomas. Thomas getting Crewe to go forward again. Here's Osterfield in the centre of midfield. It's just bobbled off him, right foot onto his left shin. And goes out of play for a throw that will be taken on the Doncaster left. And they will make their change. And Tommy Rose coming on. Always guaranteed a big ovation. The man who's got more than 260 Doncaster appearances behind him. A couple of playoff successes in his career. One each at Stockport and Peterborough. And he's off to be replaced by Kyle Hurst, the former Birmingham youngster who scored on his last start against Walsall back in March. He's been used in as a bit part player as a substitute since then, but he's on for his 80th Donny appearance tonight. So Hurst for Rowe, and we'll play it out. 2-2 the aggregate score. 2-0 away wins in both legs as things stand at the moment. And here's Lotitalo playing it outside of the penalty area for Wood. And Wood 10 yards inside his own half, drives it forward. Coming to meet it is a lovely little touch from Adelican. And Adelican will then make his way out towards the left-hand side. Hurst is in the middle. Ironside's in there as well. Can Adelican get it across? He's won a corner, the next best thing. That was well defended by Billington. This is Doncaster's first corner of the second half.
Yeah, conducting the fans behind that goal as well. They know how important the fans are going to be today to try and pull them through, Donny, and listen to that. They're certainly willing to listen to their team.
Plenty of movement inside the penalty area. It's a low one in towards the near post. It caused all kinds of problems and ended up being scooped wide and out of play for a goal kick.
Not convinced that was the intended target. I think it was a miss it, but nonetheless it creates a little bit of chaos in there. But this is where I think Donny have let themselves down today. Just the final touches, when they're in the final third, when they need a bit of calmness and composure. That's what we normally see from them in the final third in wide areas, and it's just not come together yet for them.
Strike's going to take this goal kick. I think it's the first goal kick of the second half. Anderson got his head to it and gets it very quickly back into Crewe territory. Overhead kick from Thomas is effective through the midfield. It's headed back again by Anderson for Doncaster from the heart of their defence, and then brought on well by Hurst. Ironside will make his run through the middle. Molyneux is in support. It's a clean challenge, according to the referee, by Shiloh Tracy, who's done a very good job defensively in this second half for Crewe. Doncaster winning it back, and increasingly now winning more and more second ball. High ball over the top here. The flag has stayed down. It must have been a close run thing. Ironside picking it up just outside the penalty area. Thomas stays goal side of him. Clip back to the substitute Hurst. Craig plays it wide. Ball swung inside the area, and the header is a fraction wide. Really good jump. Dimitriou beaten by Ironside. He just couldn't quite get the touch. I think it was Richard Wood actually who was the furthest forward, and he just couldn't quite get the angle right. As he aimed for the foot of the post, he went just the wrong side.
Yeah, it was. I did a double take as well. I didn't expect him to be up there, but it's a wonderful in-swinging ball from that left-hand side. Bags the pace on it, and you're just expecting Wood to rise. As soon as you see him jump, you think he's going to connect with the ball, but it's just achingly a couple of inches away from him.
Hasn't scored a goal for Doncaster yet, Richard Wood. Centre half has got more than 40 in his career. And Rovers will chase again, trying to get the ball forward towards Molyneux. That battle between Molyneux and Adebisi is an excellent one. Molyneux getting a ball in this time to Mitriou, sweeps it clear with a left-footed volley. And then Nevitt plays it back into the heart of his own midfield. Doncaster doing what they can to win it back with Bailey. And Anderson will mop up, get it away from Holicek to find his goalkeeper. Another crew change is imminent with Courtney Baker-Richardson getting ready. And Doncaster will bring it forward over on the far touchline. They're midway inside the crew half. They're kicking from left to right in their red and white hoop shirts on a gorgeous spring evening here in South Yorkshire. Good save from the goalkeeper, Stryack. Ball came in. It was there to be attacked by Ironside, and Ed turns and the goalkeeper between them got a touch to get it away. Ball goes out of play for a Doncaster throw, and a change will be made. And Crewe will take off Charlotte Tracy, and they will bring on Courtney Baker-Richardson, who's only scored one goal in his last 21 games. That came against Swindon back in January, but he has got 10 this season in a campaign in which he struggled with dislocated shoulder and calf injuries in recent weeks. Never comes across, and he's just having a word with his manager Lee Bell about a little bit of tactical fine-tuning. Exactly how they want to play things up front now that Baker-Richardson is coming on to replace Shiloh. Shiloh's put a real shift in today and, of course, played a major part in the second goal. Yeah, and you can only think it's just because he's worked so hard, because he's probably been one of Crewe's best players today, but playing at that intensity, obviously you've got a full season in your legs as well, so managers often say that, give me everything you can for as long as you can and then we'll get you changed. So that change made 20 minutes into the second half here on TalkSport 2. It remains 2-0 to Crewe, 2-2 on aggregate. It's been that way since before this point of the first half. Alex getting off to a wonderful start tonight. They haven't looked back, but they have increasingly had to hang in there as Doncaster is slowly finding their rhythm. A side that tend to score. Bradford, the last side to stop them scoring in an EFL trophy game back in January. And Doncaster bringing it forward through the midfield again. Out it goes towards Lee Molyneux. Good movement off the ball from Bailey. Molyneux knocking it forward into the feet of Ironside inside the penalty area. He will lay it back. Adelican urged to shoot. It wasn't really on for him. Ball is played in left-footed inside the penalty area and comfortably caught by Stryack. Quality of the final ball has certainly been an area where they've let themselves down tonight. Yeah, certainly, although it is improving in terms of playing off of Ironside. They're doing that better. You see there, he's back to goal, sets the ball off when the ball's going into him in headed areas, flicking on, but this is not what the Doncaster crowd want to see because they know that their team's in the ascendancy. And Stryack has gone down injured. Now, this could be a little bit of match management. If it's not, they've got a problem because they haven't got a substitute goalkeeper on the bench. And he was preparing to take the goal kick and he stopped and it just looked as though he was running a few seconds off the clock, and he might still be. I know I would want my goalkeeper to be doing exactly that in these circumstances, but he's having his hamstring looked at the moment and he appears to be in a little bit of discomfort. What it does do, it gives the opportunity for both managers to get their teams across to this near touchline and give them a few instructions for the final quarter of the regular 90 minutes. Yeah, it's one of those, it happens in the game, it's game management, and it's here to stay because the goalkeeper's the only player that can go down and be treated and not come off. And you know what, if he is doing that, then he's done it at the perfect time, in all fairness to him. I know it's not what fans and players alike want to see, but Doncaster there was certainly getting ahead of steam, so to stop their momentum at that time, he's potentially injured or it is very, very clever play. Yeah, I'm going to go for the latter, and I don't mean that as an insult to him. Clever with a capital C. And we welcome listeners back from TalkSport. No change to the scoreline here at the Eco Power Stadium. We're midway through the second half. It's still Doncaster 0, Crewe 2. So it's 2-2 on aggregate, and time beginning to run out for either of these two sides to be able to get the job done in the regulation 90 minutes. Doncaster have certainly been able to turn the screw in the last 10-15 minutes. Courtney Sweetman-Kirk alongside me. They've been the better side in the last quarter of an hour or so. Both sides have made changes, but Rovers still not able to really create too many clear-cut opportunities. They'll try and make something happen now with Lee Molyneux on the right-hand side of the area. His ball inside the box is easily headed away, and will go out towards the Doncaster left-hand side.
Yeah, and you're right, Jim, in terms of, yes, Doncaster have been a lot better in this second half and certainly improved as it's gone on, but Stryjek hasn't had a save to make that I can think of that's been really meaningful, and still in the final third, Doncaster, they're just not quite as clinical as we usually see them. That final ball is still lacking.
Yeah, Doncaster chasing the game, but they've only had 3 shots on target in the 55 minutes or so since they went 2-0 down. Remember, the 2-0 Crew victory will only take this to extra time. Doncaster coming into this on the back of an unbeaten run of 13 and 8 straight wins, and they will certainly back themselves to be able to find a way through and still be able to complete the victory. They're beginning to ping it around with a little bit more ease now, although Molyneux's latest ball inside the penalty area is the latest in a long line of final balls that isn't quite up to muster. The coverage continues with Courtney and myself here at the Eco Power Stadium on TalkSport 2. If you've got the app, it's easy just to flick between TalkSport and TalkSport 2 to keep abreast of all of the action. We've got just over 20 minutes to go. It's Doncaster 0, Crew 2, 2-2, the aggregate score. Extra time on the agenda at the moment. Stryjek takes a goal kick, and he's okay. The cramp that he was suffering with is not as much of a problem as perhaps it might have been. But let me reiterate the point. If I was on the Crew bench, if I was a Crew fan, I would want him to have done exactly that. I think it's clever play. I've not got a problem with it at all. The ball is over on the Doncaster left-hand side. They'll try and find a way through. Challenge right on the left-hand side of the penalty area, but whether it was in or outside the box is academic. So the referee doesn't think it was a foul.
I think it's a foul, Jim, I really do. The problem is, I think it's Hurst out on that left-hand side who's gone out there, by the way, and Adelakun is now playing in that number 10 role, just sat behind Ironside. But when 2 defenders come in between you like that, there's nowhere to go. If they don't get the ball, I don't understand how that's not a foul.
Donny having to mop up at the other end. They've made a bit of a meal of it with Maxwell. The ball put on the plate. The goalkeeper has done well to kick it away at the near post. Lotitala with a big moment. And Doncaster almost architects of their own downfall there. Adebisi's got it for Crew. They'll take it down towards the byline, and then Czech has got support if he wants to play it back. He's done exactly that. High left-footed looping ball inside the penalty area from Ed Turns. That is headed away. Goes out towards the right-hand side for Aaron Rowe. Another good ball in from him. Stabbed clear awkwardly, but effectively. Thomas goes down on the edge of the penalty area. No foul on him by Adelakun. And the ball is with the goalkeeper, Timothée Lotitala.
I'll tell you what, Thomas had genuinely got cramp as soon as he dove for that ball there. You could see straight away both of his legs went straight. He was straight on his toes to try and pull them up to try and stretch the calves, so he's certainly struggling. He's stretching out again now in the middle of the pitch.
We play 72 minutes and it remains 2-0 to Crew. Sterry bringing the ball forward towards halfway. Work down towards Molyneux. Molyneux's put under pressure. Gets it forward to Adelakun, trying to turn it around at the corner. It's really well won back by Thomas. Cleared up towards halfway. Boom forward then by Anderson for Doncaster. It hangs on the breeze, but Billington can head it away. Doncaster winning more and more second ball at the moment, but still they haven't had a shot on target in this second half. Now an opportunity for Crew to bring it away. They've given it away instead in Holicek, whose ball out behind Baker Richardson is not what was required. It's gone out of play. It's a throw which will be taken on the Doncaster right, midway inside their own half. We've got 18 minutes of normal time to go, and we're heading for extra time at the moment.
It's going to be on though more and more, Jim, if Crew can actually put some decent passes together, because Doncaster, as we go, as you imagine, with more urge here, flooding more bodies forward, so the counter-attack is there to be played on if they can find their passes, Crew.
Ball in the hands of the Donny manager, Grant McCann. He's got plenty of playoff experience. He scored in a League One playoff final in his Peterborough days. He led Doncaster to the League One playoff semi-finals, an absolutely belting for the neutral two-legged tie against Charlton a couple of years ago. I was lucky enough to be at the second leg of that at the Valley. It was a really good game. Charlton made it through. Doncaster side with a little bit of playoff history, having beaten Leeds in the League One final in 2008. It's only their third playoff campaign and his crew's seventh, but only the second they've had in 27 years. Promoted in the last one, and their great fight back tonight has given them a chance of yet being promoted in this one as well. The ball's played for, another coming together. Bailey has gone down, Doncaster midfielder. He's okay. Nevitt has taken a slightly heavier fall, and he is down on his knees and is kicking his right foot into the ground. The referee went across to see if he was all right. Nevitt got back up, and as soon as the referee's back was turned, he went back down again. And the referee was alive to that, and then made sure he was all right, was going to be able to continue. Certainly doesn't need any treatment. Elliot Nevitt. Long ball launched for from Donny, but they've headed it straight out of play for a throw that will be taken on the Crew Alexandra right-hand side. 16 to go in another thrilling playoff encounter. I can't remember as many exciting topsy-turvy games, not in the playoffs but in football in general, than we've had in 2024. It's been an extraordinary year for extraordinary football matches.
Yeah, it has. It's been absolutely incredible all the way through the pyramid in Europe. We've certainly been treated to some fantastic football, and hopefully in the summer as well we get a little bit more.
And even in the non-league playoffs, and the National League South playoff final the other day was a belting game between. It was that good. I can't even remember who it was between Worthing and Braintree. Braintree won it 4-3 after extra time. It's some brilliant goals in that game. And the Southern Premier, I went to one leg of the Southern Premier playoff semi-finals where Salisbury were a goal down with 3 minutes to go and won before it went to extra time, then won the final on penalties. Well, congratulations to Brian Dutton for masterminding their promotion back into the second tier of non-league football. Whatever way you look, there've just been some extraordinary, mouth-watering encounters. This one, no exception, against the odds. And that's credit to Crew. And they've got a long throw opportunity now for Mickey Dimitriou. Some pulling and shoving going on inside the penalty area, though. Certainly two instances of it, and now the referee will stop it and tell Dimitriou to wait before he throws the ball inside the penalty area, because he's seen some wrestling going on there. But he's happy. It's going to be a throw which will be taken over on the right-hand side by Dimitriou. 14 to go. Crew looking for the aggregate lead for the first time in the tie. Long throw flicked on, right-footed miss-hit by Osterfield. And Doncaster will be able to work it away. Well, they just hammered it away, to be fair, towards halfway. The ball bounced on the halfway line and goes out of play for a throw just in Crew territory. And again, they're in no real hurry to take it.
It's weird, really, because you look at the aggregate scoreline, so both of these sides still need a goal, and Crew are almost at times playing like a side that are protecting a lead.
Protecting aggregate parity is what they're doing, as opposed to protecting the lead. But yeah, it's like they're protecting a 2-0 lead on the night, and the first leg didn't happen, as opposed to really chasing the game to get an aggregate winner. Osterfield will help it forward now, but that's too long. Goes straight through to Lototala. And he'll just wait a moment, see what's on, bolts it out towards the left-hand side, gets it back, ships it now down towards the right for Sterry. Will control it on his chest, loop it forward through the midfield. Bailey, who's increasingly influential, chests it down, he plays it forward. Joe Ironside's got it now. Ironside down the right-hand touchline. This is a really good Doncaster move. Lee Molyneux takes over. Molyneux getting towards the edge of the penalty area. Well, Luke Molyneux can't beat his man. Back he comes from Sterry. Great ball in from Sterry, and a diving header puts it over his own bar from one of the defenders for Crew Alexandra. Fine defending, but that is some cross. We've been bemoaning the lack of quality from wide position for Doncaster, but that was really on the money.
Yeah, it was brilliant, and actually the ball into him was good as well. Then he gets himself on the half turn, looks up, bags of pace, this ball whipped in. It's wonderful delivery.
Luke Molyneux to take the corner. It's a left-footed ball towards the penalty spot that's headed away easily enough back into the fray, but not to good effect, and then a high up and under left-footed clearance from the substitute Holycheck, which is out of play for a Doncaster throw, which they will take back 10 yards adrift of the edge of the penalty area. It remains 2-0 the Crew on the night, 2-2 the aggregate score. Richard Wood still forward. Will Sterry be able to try and find him here? Sterry just rolling it down the touchline. Molyneux did his best to turn it around the corner. He couldn't find a Delican. Anderson works it back for his goalkeeper. Crew increasingly being hemmed in towards their own final third. But still, Doncaster haven't had a shot on target in this second half as they chase the goal that, whilst it wouldn't protect their unbeaten record, it would send them to Wembley, and that's all that matters from a Rovers perspective tonight. Ironside, 24-goal man, works it out to the left-hand side for the substitute Hurst. Now coming forward to attack is Maxwell. And Scott plays it back for a Delican in this more central role. He's chipped it in, and it's really well left. Adebisi so calm under pressure. Must have got a shout from Stryjek, because he just pulled out of the way at the last moment. He had Molyneux bearing down on him, but the goalkeeper and defender got it absolutely right between them. It's a brave shout from the goalkeeper, and Adebisi's done well to trust him.
Yeah, he did really well. I must admit, I had a sharp intake of breath. It looked like it was just going to curl into that bottom right-hand corner, but between them, Adebisi and the keeper get that bang on. But Ironside dropping in again. He's definitely having more influence on the game now, and he's being fed better by his teammates. The next step is, can you get a decent cross into him that he can try and head towards goal?
Long clearance from Stryjek is headed away, and he goes out of play for a throw on that far side. But his goal scoring form has been so good. When Ironside really on a roll, 6 in his last 6 games. But will he be able to take half a chance? Will they be able to create one half chance for him? They haven't so far tonight. 10 to go, the ball chested down by Joe Ironside, who's old man, was a Middlesbrough player back in the day. Osterfield now poked forward towards Holycheck, the teenager dispensing with the ball in the midfield. As the Crew way, everybody so neat and tidy in possession. The left-footed ball curved towards the edge of the Doncaster penalty area, but volley clear easily by Wood. He chased after by Hurst. Dimitriou is there for Crew, gets it back to Stryjek, and he's more than happy to go long. Good ball forward over halfway. Baker Richardson comes to meet it, flicking it on Calvert-Lewin style, and he's found Nevitt. Nevitt inside the penalty area, right-footed effort from him, but he snatched it and drove it so far wide of the near post that he missed the side netting. It's come back off the hoardings behind the goal. It's a goal kick to Doncaster. We played 81, still 2-0 the Crew.
Baker Richardson is not happy. He did ever so well. You're right with the initial jump. And then he gets himself in the box. He's looking for the cutback from his teammate, who strikes it well wide.
Stryjek's got it again, takes a touch, works it across the edge of the 6-yard box and clears right-footed out towards the far touchline. Coming onto that is Maxwell. Maxwell catching the ball on his left foot, bringing it down, running and winning a corner off Aaron Rowe. And he is now the latest Crew player to go down. What a touch of crap for him, potentially. And they are a side that have scored a stack of late goals this season, Crew. 8 of them in stoppage time in the regular league campaign. But it's Doncaster that are in the ascendancy at the moment by and large, albeit, at risk of repeating ourselves, they still haven't had a shot on target in this second half. In fact, I think we've only had 2 attempts in the second half between the two teams. What will Doncaster be able to muster from this corner? It's hit in towards the far post, defending from Stryjek, the goalkeeper, because that might just have crept in off the far post. They watched it all the way, got a hand to it to paddle it away and out for another corner.
Yeah, Anderson as well at the back stick was bearing down, ready to either head that towards goal if the angle was good enough, or back across, so it was an important little tip over.
82 minutes gone. Another Doncaster corner on the cards. Another lecture from the referee to the players who are bumping and barging inside that 18-yard box. Delican and Molyneux, the 2 Donny players standing over this. Molyneux walks away, and Delican fires it in towards the corner of the 6-yard box. It's cleared easily. Bounces down through the midfield again for Craig. And the youngster on loan from Spurs back to Delican, gets another opportunity, fires it in himself this time. It's cleared. Good ball back out towards Delican. Now he's inside the area. Low ball in towards the edge of the 6-yard box, and it is somehow knocked away by Adebisi. Maxwell will be able to pick it up. Maxwell getting towards the dead ball line. 41 another corner. It's out of play for a goal kick. A real melee inside that 6-yard box, and there was no Doncaster player there to turn it over the line.
Yeah, not sure how that didn't go in. Bodies everywhere, but just that vital touch didn't come, and Delican did ever so well. Very, very similar position to Shiloh Tracy in the first half, and equally for me as good a ball. Just drives it across, but just didn't quite get the look, Donny, there that Crewe got in the first half.
Well, this is the first time in 13 games that Crewe have scored even a couple of goals. What they would give for a third. They're going to be making another change in a moment. We're going to be seeing Lewis Lee come on, another player who's on loan. He's a midfielder that they've borrowed from Preston, and he's back tonight after a 4-match ban after a red card at Morecambe. It was his second red card of the season, and it was administered by this referee, Scott Oldham. So he's the first player that's going to be coming on. He's going to replace Thomas. And we're also going to see right back Ryan Cooney on. Is it going to be a straight swap for Billington? No, he's going to replace Aaron Rowe. So that's interesting. Are they going to go to a 5? Cooney on for Rowe, and Lee on in the heart of the midfield to replace Thomas. 5 minutes of normal time to go, and it's still 2-2 on aggregate, Courtney.
I wonder if that serves two purposes in terms of Rowe and Thomas, both seen them go down with cramp and struggling with that. So physically, that could be one of the reasons. And then, as you say, maybe to go for a 5 at the back, be a little bit more expansive going forward and leave a 3 at times and try and get bodies forward to add the attacks. They've not done that too much in this second half, Crewe.
Cooney, who's also come on, won these League 2 playoffs with Morecambe. That was an extraordinary story, masterminded by Derek Adams 3 seasons ago, where they had just about the smallest budget in this division, ended up winning the playoffs. Cooney part of that team. 4 minutes of normal time to go, probably 4 minutes to be added on, and maybe another 30, and maybe spot kick drama after that. Molyneux getting it forward here for Doncaster, won back by Osterfield for Crewe. Back towards Demetriou. Demetriou just had to retrace his steps there, did well to get it forward. Holicek can flick it over halfway away from Sterry, in towards Nevitt, who's claiming he was fouled. Referee says no. Lee Bell, the Crewe manager, couldn't have had a better view. He was pretty sure that there was a foul there. Crewe made all of their changes of the 90 minutes. Doncaster have only made 1 so far. It goes to extra time. Crewe can make another. The ball is worked forward by Sterry. Molyneux getting towards the byline. Good right-footed ball inside the penalty area. Great defensive header by Demetriou. Every bit as important as the one that he scored in the opening moments of the game at that end of the ground, because that was a goal-saving intervention. Doncaster get it again. Pull of a shirt on Molyneux. He'll run onto it on the edge of the penalty area. Goes to the ground, no foul. Meanwhile, Nevitt is down and potentially in need of treatment. He's holding his space. High ball inside the penalty area as play goes on. Crewe think this should be stopped because of a head injury. Grant McCann, the Doncaster manager, thinks he's making it up, and he's waving a finger at the referee saying, don't stop it, it's not a head injury. Baker Richardson, back defending for Crewe, will bring it away. And he's given it away, and then Cooney wins it back, clears, but Maxwell will be able to bring it forward. Hurst has it now over on the Doncaster left. He swings the ball inside the penalty area. Another good header away. Delican, again, urged to shoot, doesn't do it. Craig works it wide. Here comes Sterry. Doncaster, the first time almost got Crewe where they want them. And Sterry, who's put over the cross of the night for Doncaster, has now put over one of the worst crosses of the night for them, because that was sailed over the goal and straight out of play. 88 gone, 2-0 to Crewe, as it's been for 72 minutes, 2-2 on aggregate.
I'm just watching Grant McCann there, and for most of the game, considering what's been going on, he's been quite calm, but he's not happy about that from Sterry, and I can get why, in terms of, look, you're going forward, you're putting so much pressure on Crewe, you're getting good balls in the box, and then for Sterry to waste that opportunity on the right-hand side when he knows he's better than that, when his manager's seen him put such a peach of a ball in only just 5 minutes ago, to waste the possession like that would be so disappointing.
Well, Nevitt went down holding his face, claiming that he had a head injury. Meanwhile, play continued. One of the Doncaster players was dripping with blood from a facial wound, and the referees had to order him off so that he can get that all stitched up. So he's now got a big white headband, and they're temporarily down to 10 men. Tyler, his goalkeeper, is going to be able to pick it up inside his penalty area. He was given a shove by Nevitt outside the box. He just about kept the ball inside the box. His feet certainly came out of it. And now Anderson is back on to take his place in the heart of the defence. So both of the Doncaster centre-halves are now wearing headbands because of head injuries, historic and present. And Anderson and Nevitt off the ball are almost squaring up to each other. Meanwhile, a free kick's been given at the other end. Well, the officials need eyes in the back of their head here. It's got the potential to all go off.
Well, Nevitt needs to be very careful as well, because he's already on a caution for an incident off the ball in the first half. So the last thing that Crewe need is him getting sent off for silly decisions and squaring up to Anderson.
Almost into stoppage time. Extra time beckoning. Stryjek working a long ball forward. The Crewe goalkeeper, it's gone over everybody's head, out of play. And if it's not going to extra time, it's going to be settled by a goal in 5 minutes of stoppage time. Remember, Crewe have scored 8 stoppage time goals over the course of the regular season. Another one tonight would surely take them to Wembley.
Yeah, would do. I think it's now or never, isn't it? Although you'd say that Donny have looked the better team in the last probably 15-20 minutes. He certainly had a right good spell, right good go at it in the last 5 or 10 minutes, but still can't find that finishing touch, that bit of quality in the final third to get them over the line.
Ball headed on by Osterfield. Nevitt will chase after it. Richard Wood turns it back to his goalkeeper. We were talking about the way that Crewe were lining up defensively. They haven't gone to a 5. Cooney is playing not particularly high on the right-hand touchline, but he is playing in front of Billington still. It's not 3 centre-halves, although dropping off now when they're out of possession. It is a back 5 with Cooney at right back. The ball will be worked for now by Donny. Sterry out towards Molyneux. Molyneux working the angle onto his left foot, and wide. Well, everyone could see what he was trying to do, and then when he fired it in, he snatched it and went for the near post. But he didn't get the power or the precision. Stryjek watches it wide, and we're already 90 seconds into stoppage time.
Yeah, I think he took that one a little bit too late. He skips past the first defender, half a yard opens up, and that's the opportunity where you can curl it into the back of net, try and find the opposite corner. Then he takes another touch, has to take the third touch to set him up, and by that time you're running across the ball. You've got to try and reverse it back to where it's come from. So much more difficult.
Doncaster have had 7 home defeats this season, 3 of them by a scoreline that would eliminate them tonight, another 3 by a scoreline that would get Crewe to extra time. It looks as though this is going to be another 2-goal defeat here. Ball is out of play for a throw, which will be taken on the Joe Alexandra left. Adebis has had a good game. More assists for the Alex this season than anybody else. He will take this throw and just hurl it down the left-hand touchline, where Baker Richardson will try and flick it on. Holicek will be able to get to the flick on. In behind him, he uses the full length of the pitch and the full width of it, but no more. And as he want to throw, he has. And this is the cue for Mickey Demetriou to launch a long one inside the penalty area.
That's the thing as well, when you've got a long throw like that. I thought initially, why doesn't he get it in the box? But that's why, because he wants to try and set up the throw-in to get all his teammates up and really fight for this ball in the box.
This is a big moment. Demetriou to launch one of his trademark throws inside the penalty area. First contact from a Doncaster player near post. Hooked high up inside the penalty area. It's ended away by Anderson. Back into the fray. Flicked on again. Holicek couldn't turn. Goes out of play for another throw. They'll do it all again. He throws it in so flat. It's only about 7 feet off the ground. And it's straight and it's fast. No loop on it at all.
That's the thing as well, then it causes chaos for the defenders because the first and second touch can go absolutely anywhere.
Much more loopy throw this time, having given him the big build-up, and that one is easily headed away at the near post by Sterry. Comes out towards Cooney. High ball forward for Crew towards the edge of the penalty area, offside. And Ed Turns, the centre-half, was the man that was too far forward. So a free kick that Doncaster will take with just over a minute to go. And Cliff Byrne, the Doncaster assistant manager, waving everybody forward. No thought of this going short from Lotitala. This is going to be boomed deep into Crew territory. And it's flicked on well, and it bounces on the edge of the penalty area. Adelican tried to turn, in possession. Molyneux is waiting, they couldn't get the ball to him. Craig has lost out. Osterfield bringing it forward here for Crew. And then Nevitt was caught as he retreated, and an angry reaction from him again. The red mist descended about an hour ago for Elliot Nevitt. And he's won a free kick, and that might just about be that. It certainly probably negates Doncaster's chance of winning it in 90 minutes. Crew will have one last chance to take a long set piece of their own. 20 seconds of the 5 minutes to go. Max Stryek takes a couple of steps forward, now hits it right-footed. Ping towards the edge of the penalty area. Richard Wood backpedaling, forced to head it away. Might have let it go through to his goalkeeper. He elected not to. Holicek down towards Adebisi, coming in off the left touch line. We've played the 5 minutes now. Adebisi trying to get to the byline, trying to take on Sterry. Sterry has done his best to buy a free kick. Hasn't been able to do it as the ball is curved inside the penalty area. The referee blows the full-time whistle. That's an absorbing 95 minutes of football, and we still don't know who's going to be at Wembley. Crew 2 up in 16 minutes, 2 up at the end of 90, and Courtney, we're heading for extra time. And it will be Crew that will get us back underway. Osterfield will be first kick of extra time. Referee gets the signal, and we're back underway then. 2 15-minute periods, no away goals. And a penalty shootout if they're still locked together on aggregate in half an hour or so's time. We're on TalkSport 2. Brilliant start to the weekend's playoff action. 2-0 to Crew. 2-2 the aggregate score. Ball has gone out of play for an early throw on the Crew Alexandra left-hand side. And Ed Turns is going to come forward to take it. An opportunity to get it inside the penalty area. Right-footed clearance high up in the air. Turns then helps that one on. Baker Richardson going up for it. He's brought it down on the edge of the box and almost had the opportunity to get the better of Anderson, who's got the blood shirt on after his original match shirt was dirtied by blood after his challenge with Nevitt in the latter stage of the half. In fact, he's actually got his own shirt back on again. They've just nicked it at the club shop during the extra time interval, and he's got a number 4 shirt on again. Here's Wood wearing 6 down to his left-hand side for Maxwell. Maxwell will be able to bring it forward with 90 seconds or so into the first period of extra time here on TalkSport 2. Wood, that was a poor ball, and Maxwell, as he got away with that, he has. I thought that was a foul on Cooney on the touchline. It was a really poor ball from Wood. Maxwell maybe got away with it, did he? Was it a foul?
I think so. Don't get me wrong. I think Cooney knows exactly what he's doing. He gets the touch on the ball first, and no, I think there is contact there. So he's brought it to a degree, but there's contact, and I think Maxwell was late.
Ball goes back to Stryek. Long clearance from him. Baker Richardson battling, pulling the shirt of Anderson. Physical contact that both will relish. Cooney over the top. Nevitt couldn't get there. Rolls through for Lotitala. He will bowl it out. And Sterry plays it forward. He's gone long, but surely that's offside. And the flag is up, and it's going to be a free kick that will be taken by Crew about 6 or 7 yards outside there. penalty area. It's yet to get going really extra time, and it's been error-strewn the opening couple of minutes.
Yeah, and that ball forward there, I think that's been the story of the evening really for Donny in terms of the lack of quality going forward, both in the ball and the fact that the forwards have to make better runs, and instead of playing through the thirds, they're going back to front a little bit more than we're used to seeing.
Neither side have had a shot on target since the first half of the 90 minutes. But it's been a much better game than that makes it sound. Ball is cleared by Anderson. Goes out of play for a throw, which will be taken over on the through Alexandra left. Adebisi with it, nicks a few yards in taking it. Into the chest of Baker Richardson and back again. Now play back towards halfway. Dimitriou goes back to his goalkeeper. Stryag will clear. Long ball forward from him. Turns now playing on the left of the three centre halves with Billington on the right and Dimitriou in the middle of them. Is Joe Ironside. Ironside coming back. Oh, he's done well. Inside the centre circle. Plays it out towards the right flank. Doncaster able to build off that flank with Sterry. He will come inside. Played down, bypasses Craig. Wood. Down to the left-hand touchline. Maxwell rolls it forward. It was his own goal, but saw Crew equalise on aggregate. 16 minutes into this encounter, we haven't had any scoring since then. We've played 4 minutes of the first period of extra time. Here on TalkSport 2, Doncaster 0, Crew Alexandra 2, still the score, and a reminder, more playoff action for you tomorrow, because the winners of this will find out who they're playing at Wembley. It's either going to be Crawley or the MK Dons. 3-0 to Crawley, but what we've seen in the playoffs so far this season, what does that matter? But 3-0, their first leg lead. And that kicks off here on TalkSport 2. Tomorrow night, 7:45, the League 2 final will also be here on TalkSport 2. It's a 3 o'clock kickoff a week on Sunday. Crew trying to get themselves into that final. Work it forward, Adebisi in behind Baker Richardson. Nevitt coming to attack it. Wood knocks it away. And now Crew will be able to bring it forward again. Good play by Holycheck. Lee works it forward. He's lost out. And Delican winning it back, winning the seconds. Trying to encourage Maxwell to come forward, and he's played him in. Maxwell working it down the line. That's a really good ball. Opportunity here for Hurst to deliver. He's missed a man making a run towards the near post. Coming in at the far post, Adebisi was making an ill-judged challenge, and there was a contact with the Doncaster player who was coming in. And big Rovers appeals that should be a penalty, but nothing's been given.
Oh, it's one of those. I think in real time it certainly looked like a high foot from Adebisi.
No VAR, of course, in these semi-finals to analyse the referee's decisions. Delican getting it inside the penalty area here. Ironside willingly chasing. Cleared out towards Wood. Down towards Molyneux. Molyneux playing it back in field. Bailey to his right-hand side for Craig. And the youngster, for the second time I'm asking, can find Sterry. His first ball forward went straight back to him. And then Molyneux, I think, a stumble. There was no foul there by turns as Molyneux tried to make his way down the right-hand side of the penalty area. It's out of play for a goal kick of Crew. Now we'll play 6 minutes of extra time. Yeah,
and it's unfortunate for Molyneux, that one, because actually his first touch sets him up really nicely, and I don't know whether it's a bit slippy down in that right-hand corner or he can't quite catch his legs, or a bit of both, to be honest, but just can't keep his legs going, can't keep himself upright, and the ball agonisingly runs out of play.
So goalkeeper Max Stryag will take. Another long right-footed clearance out towards the far touchline. Baker Richardson, always the target of those. He will drop off. I think Don Calvert-Lewin of Everton, he plays a very similar way. Now he's played forward. Ironside is judged for foul turns. And his head's in his hands. The referee's been consistent all night though. Still think he's had a good game. Cooney. Back for Billington. Billington to his goalkeeper. and he will play it right. It's a low one, but he found their turns forced to play it first time, and Delicant has given it back to him after the poor first clearance, but Doncaster turned it over again, running inside the penalty area. Good save! Strike at the near post, beats the effort away. It's the best chance that Doncaster have created for a long time, and it's one of a corner.
Yeah, it's close. It's actually an opportunity on target as well. Do really well to break quickly after giving the ball away, but win the ball back in transition, Donny, and get a good shot on strike. It's a really, really good save. I think some of the post as well helps him out, but has to be in the right place at the right time.
So it's the Doncaster corner from the right-hand side. It's hit in very deep, headed back across the edge of the 6-yard box. Anderson going up for it. But Demetriou will be able to clear from inside his own penalty area. And then down in front of us, Doncaster make a meal of winning the second ball. There he comes and bails Maxwell out. And he will clear it right into the back of this main stand, the west stand here at the Eco Power Stadium. Cracking atmosphere, a crowd of just less than 13,000. None of them too sure how the night is going to turn out. I think nearly everybody would have arrived here thinking they knew how it was going to turn out, but it's not followed the script. Throw which Cooney will take. St. Westbrook is being ready on the Doncaster bench down in front of us. He's been called back by Cliff Byrne. Backheader from Demetriou, gets it back to his goalkeeper. The strike comes outside the penalty area, high up and under from him. Bounces off Baker Richardson. Now we'll go out to play for a throw, which will be taken on the Doncaster left-hand side. And we're 99 minutes in to a game at the end of a long, hard season, but what can either side do just to imbibe a little bit of quality?
Well, I think it's, for one, it's to do with the play into him. I think actually when the ball's gone into him, it's done really, really well. But I think, look, I'm looking down to my left now. I can see the caffeine shots. I can see the gels. I can see the sports drinks. And to be honest,
and that's just us.
Yeah. Honestly, at this point, it's more about in your head. I think it's, yes, all those physical things, but it's about your mentality to keep going, to want to make that extra run, to get yourself on the end of the ball that might win the game. And all the sports drinks and the caffeine in the world can't give you that.
Well, Zane Westbrook, who won the League One title with Coventry 4 seasons ago, is going to be coming on in a moment. Ball is worked down the left-hand side. Hurst didn't overrun it over the left-hand touchline. He's allowed to continue. Wasn't a throw. He's worked it inside the penalty area, but Crew can clear. That's a long ball forward. Oh, and Nevitt's pulled up. He's pulled up injured as he made his way forward there, casting the role of pantomime villain tonight. The home crowd loved that. So he was herring after it, and then he went. And is it cramp or a hamstring problem? Might just be the back of his calf, but he seems to be signalling over to the Crew bench that he's done, and they're getting Kurt ready. Meanwhile, play continues. Donny work a long ball inside the penalty area. It's too long for Ironside, and it goes out of play for a throw. So Doncaster will make the change first, and Craig is going to come off in the heart of the midfield. Westbrook on for him. And Crew's final change, we'll see Charlie Kirk, who is over in Charlton on deadline day. He's in the side that won promotion in 2020. Rejoined the club that he left a couple of years ago. And he's going to be coming on, you would imagine, for Nevitt. They can't make their final change without properly assessing Nevitt. Actually not going to make that change just yet. Nevitt is being called over by the Crew technical staff just so that he can tell him what he's feeling, whether he is able to continue. Kirk is waiting, but they're not making the change just yet. Doncaster made theirs. Well,
he's asking for a gel, which is now trying to get down him, so you would imagine that it is cramp. It's not the fact that he's pulled up because he thinks he's pulled his calf, so he's hoping he can play through it. But cramp's one of those horrible things. Once it onsets badly, you just really, really struggle to get rid of it.
102nd minute. Doncaster 0, Crew 2 here on TalkSport 2. And Crewe have a throw, and they're in absolutely no hurry to take it, and I think part of that is just to try and ascertain exactly what Nevitt's situation is. They're still not making the change, not yet. Ball is thrown forward, and it's cleared by Wood. He's got it forward towards Ironside. Ironside doing really well with his back to the direction of play. Protected the ball, then spins a pass out towards Jamie Sterry. He'll come forward for Doncaster down the right-hand side. And the men in red and white will make their way towards the edge of the penalty area. Molyneux trying to get himself into a position where he can deliver a cross, and when he does so, it hits out of BC and goes out of play for a throw. It's a handball shout, but only an optimistic one. It is a throw rather than a free kick. Doncaster take that throw quickly, but go back inside their own half of the centre circle with Zane Westbrook. Westbrook for Anderson, back out towards the Doncaster right once more. Molyneux could yet have the key to this game for Doncaster. Still, when he gets himself into good positions, you can see Crewe backing off. Delicate and dangerous in the number 10 role, but he hasn't had as much service latterly. 4 from Maxwell. I think Crewe have decided they are going to make the change, and Kirk might be on the next break in play. 2 minutes of this first period of extra time still to go. Sterry looking long for Donny. Delicate making a run down the right-hand side of the penalty area. He's kept it in, hooks it back, tangle on the edge of the box. Play goes on. It's on the right-hand side of the penalty area. Play goes on, no foul. Out of BC clears. Forward through the midfield. And Doncaster do give a free kick away. It was Westbrook. Free kick to Crewe, and they will now make the change, and we're going to see Charlie Kirk come on. Kirk, who has made 14 appearances for Crewe in this second spell at the club. He's made more than 200 for them all told. And the moves are for Elliot Nevitt as he leaves the field.
Yeah, I mean, he's certainly played the pantomime villain to the full tonight, hasn't he? And that's why you hear these, the ovation is getting from the Doncaster fans, but you can't say he's not given absolutely everything. He can barely move, he can barely get himself on the pitch, and he's put everything on the line to try and get Crewe over the line tonight.
So Nevitt off, Kirk on, and that means that the 6 most attacking players that started the game for Crewe have all been taken off. Both strikers and the 4 midfielders. Doncaster still only made 2 changes up to this point. They can make another 4 yet. Baker Richardson tangling with Maxwell as a long free kick was pumped forward towards the Doncaster penalty area. And Westbrook, who's playing as much the deepest of the Donny midfielders, just receives the ball from between the 2 centre halves, and then goes to his right hand side for Anderson. Anderson fires it forward towards the edge of the box. Westbrook going up for it. He headed it on, but he headed it the wrong way for Delican's run. And it'll be mopped up easily enough by a strike away to our left-hand side. We're about to go into stoppage time at the end of the first period of extra time. And it might be a couple of minutes to run because of the substitutions, also because of the treatment and prevarication of Nevitt's diagnosis. Long clearance or strike, and that's just gone from one end to the other. There's no thought really for Crewe to try and build from the back. They don't want possession of the ball at the moment. They're just trying to create counter-attacking opportunities, really.
Yeah, and the problem is, though, when that ball went forward there, I think Crewe are so physically struggling that actually to try and get on the end of the ball, they can't do it. And it's Donny certainly looked at the pressure of the teams, but again, they've not made it count, and Crewe have defended really well.
Well, Crewe are having to do a lot of chasing now, and the possession is 75-25 in extra time in Doncaster's favour. But what have they done with it? Couple of attempts, 1 on target, and the one that was on target forced a really good save, but other than that, not a lot to show for their territorial advantage and the dominance of possession. We're in stoppage time at the end of the first period of extra time. Charlie Kirk has won a throw for Crewe. It's just asking as the ball has gone down one of the exits over on the far touchline for a Crewe fan, Doncaster fan to retrieve it for him. And then when it was retrieved, it's thrown back on the pitch. The Crewe player made no attempt to catch it, rolls back onto the pitch, it's rolled back to him, he walks out of the way of it. Long throw, all the old tricks. Long throw over on the far touchline. But to reiterate a point I made in the first half, when Strike went down through injury, It's an observation, it's not a criticism, because it is part of the game. Learning at a young age how to manage a match situation when you have games as big as this is absolutely crucial, and the Crew have done that really well.
Yeah, paramount. And you'll find as well, keepers that I've played with, in, for that example, hate going down and doing that at those times, but do it because they know it's for the better of the team. And the dark arts, it's important to learn to manage the game, and there's more than one way to win a game.
Dimitri the Baker Richardson, who gets the last touch of the first period of extra time. Crew players will go into their traditional huddle, but they will walk towards the edge of the penalty area in front of the away end before they do so. Just whipping up the volume again. It's slightly controversial that they've decided to do that, because they're not kicking, defending that half of the field in this half. So that's going to delay the restart even further. And the referee is telling them, get back in the other half of the field. Tyler makes his way back into the Doncaster goal. So we're in a position to restart. 15 minutes before this goes to penalties. And at the moment you wouldn't bet against it being a shootout, but then from what we've seen in the playoffs, you wouldn't bet against both sides scoring in the second period of extra time. It's just been one of those seasons.
It certainly has, but the volume's been turned up. Anything can happen, and to be honest, we sit here and do this job and still can't call it. I don't know what I've seen today already. I think it's been a very absorbing performance by both sides. It's been very tactical. And still can't call which way it's going to go.
Doncaster kicking from left to right, and they will get the second period of extra time underway. Delicate with the ball at his feet. Doncaster with all of the possession in that first period of extra time over the last 15 minutes, but can they make it count for something? Sterry gets it forward here for Molyneux. Doncaster immediately working the ball down the right hand side of the penalty area. Bailey taking up more advanced positions now that Westbrook has come on. He's got that little bit more license to push forward. His starting position is about 10 yards further forward, and he chased down the right hand side of the box, but it goes straight out of play. They've got to do that to a certain extent because Crew are playing with the back five, so they've got to try and get more bodies forward around the edge of the penalty area, and the introduction of Westbrook's allowing them to do that.
Yeah, they have, and also that runs from deep, because in terms of Ironside, it is 1 versus 5, and the deep runs are harder to track, especially when you've got less bodies in midfield, because you've brought them back into the wing-back area, so it's a good tactic to employ.
Osterfield is in there with a strong challenge for Crew. It's got out of play for a throw to Doncaster, midway inside the Crew half. Take him over on the Doncaster left. That's the far touchline as we look at it. Here at the Eco Power Stadium, still very, very pleasant, mild evening. Still t-shirt weather. Here's Molyneux coming forward. Good little ball inside the penalty area, looking for Ironside. Ironside's always got two centre-halves around him. Whenever they play it in, it's Turns and Demetriou who are one side and t'other of him, and he's just got no room to turn whatsoever. Ironside can't detect any space at all at the moment. The ball goes out towards the Doncaster left. Hurst, who's been lively since coming on, firing across, which hits Billington. Baker Richardson, I think, was offside. He made an attempt to go for that. Flag stayed down though. Doncaster get it forward again. Billington will control it. He will play it forward towards halfway. It was a tired attempt really from Adelican to raise a right foot. He's playing that little bit deeper at the moment. And now Crew will be able to drive it forward, and they got it on the right hand side of the penalty area. Kirk made his way into the box, and Crew win a corner, which is their first of extra time. Still 2-0 to Crew.
There's a better ball in the box. Crew are really in business there in terms of the numbers. I think there were 3 up, outnumbered at Donny defence because of the bodies that they pushed forward. So it was a very, very good opportunity to get the ball in the box, but well defended in the end.
Adebisi's going to take it. He'll trot out towards that far touchline. It's only Crew's 4th corner of the night. They scored from the first, and then from the second phase of play from the second. Adebisi has worked this one short, and Crew will be able to bring it forward again. But rather than firing a direct ball inside the penalty area, they've maybe let Donny off the hook, bearing in mind how much Rovers struggled to deal with those. Just joining us, Rovers have received 31 goals from crosses this season, despite the fact that they've had such a fantastic finale to the campaign. That's 11 more than any other side in the division, 55% more than any other team in the division. 2 of those tonight. Crew have got another corner now. Will they be able to make a little bit more of this next one? Lee, the substitute, waiting on the edge of the penalty area. Holicek is there as well. Crowd scene ahead of them, swung inside the box, turns there to attack it. Might break down for Kirk on the left-hand side of the penalty area. Has to retrace his steps a bit, fires in a deep chip towards the far post. It's a dangerous one. Westbrook's there to volley it away. And Crew will be able to pick it up on halfway, where Cooney sends a long ball forward. Dimitriou's still forward. Sterry got his head to it, wasn't sure where the ball had gone. The answer is far his head off Dimitriou, and out of play for a Doncaster throw midway inside their own half. 109 gone, 2-0 to Crew, 2-2 on aggregate here on Talksport 2.
Just watching the Donny staff before that corner was taken, they were saying to their players, you've got to get your body shape right. They were too flat, wanted them to face out so they could see ball and player, and managed to defend that one really well in the end.
Crew got the ball out the back with Cooney. And they'll turn it back for his goalkeeper, Stryek. Stryek driving it forward, right-footed, over halfway. It's come off the header for Anderson still with that big white bandage, making him very distinguishable. Billington plays it out to Cooney, the right back in the Crew, back 5. He trips over the ball for a moment, but he's well to recover. Then it's worked between the lines for Lee. Billington playing it forward again, but you can see the picture in his head. That wasn't actually the reality of the situation. The geography on the pitch was something different, and he's just given it away. Tyler will pick it up at the back, and Doncaster will come forward again with 10 minutes before we go to penalties.
And you see Baker Richardson hangs his head because actually he was in good space in the middle of the pitch, but like you say, you get to this point in the game as well where your head and your feet are doing completely different things. You know what you want to do, but you can't always make it work because you're that fatigued.
I know people can either take or leave XG. Some people think it's a really accurate reflection of how a game is developed. Others, as I say, not so sure. The XG tonight over the game as a whole, Doncaster are about a half a goal ahead of Crew. In reality, they're 2 behind them on the night. Ball is over on the Doncaster left. They still have the option of bringing fresh legs on. Crew have made all 6 changes. It's going to be a double change for Doncaster in a moment. Ball comes towards the edge of the penalty. It's a big handball shout. It's a right through shot came in from the edge of the box from Molyneux, from Westbrook. The referee said no. And Adebisi will be able to bring it away for Crew. We're going to see Miller come on for Doncaster, and Joe Olaru will be coming on as well. Former Arsenal trainee about to be introduced. Guaranteed Miller's going to get a magnificent reception when he comes on. Come on Miller, the shout from Doncaster fans away to our left-hand side, because George Miller hasn't played for 9 months. Picked up a knee injury at Newport back in August. Got a couple of goals in his 3 appearances that he did make before that injury, and he comes on now. Good to see him back. Olawu will come on as well. And I think it's Maxwell and Sterry who are being replaced. So Olawu, centre half, former Arsenal man, will come on. Miller, a striker, and they're going to go 2 up. It is going to be Miller and Ironside by the look of it. Quite sure how they're going to shuffle things around elsewhere, bearing in mind they've taken the 2 full-backs off and brought a centre half on, but Olawu will play at centre half. And it looks as though they are going to go a very wide 3 at the back, and they've still got options of making more changes yet. Doncaster, they can still make 1 more. They can call on Broadbent or striker Billy Waters, as well as substitute goalkeeper Jones. Crew have made their changes.
Tell you what, playing this formation, Molyneux now, he's got a big job. So if I'm Crew, bearing in mind the amount of Factor Cassidy's going to have in the legs, try and get him down that side, see if you can track me down. And yeah, I think Kirk, you've got to get him facing the wrong way.
Just wonder if the script is written here for Miller. Stryak wasting time. The referee tells him that he's having his last warning. He said, take it from the right place. You know that isn't the right place. So he obliges and he hurries up to make sure that he doesn't get a yellow card. Oluwu is given a shove. Good welcome to the game by Baker Richardson. Referee says, no foul, nothing wrong with that. That was just upper body strength and a legitimate shoulder barge. So it's a throw that will be taken on the Crewe left. And although Kirk is trying the ball, Dimitriou is going to be the man that will take it. And Dimitriou, he can't use a towel, but he does use the pink bib of one of the substitutes to dry his hands. The ball was dried by Kirk. Here's the throw. It's another one of those flat ones. Really good header away by Anderson for Doncaster Rovers with 6 to go at 2-0 Crewe. Cooney, high ball over the top from him. Kirk making a run from deep, but in having to do so to stay onside, he then couldn't catch the ball, and it goes out of play for a goal kick to Doncaster.
He's just too much on it. I do think he times his run to perfection, but as you say, the fact he has to keep himself onside, he has to bend his run, match with the fact that the cross is, well, the ball forward rather, is overhit. He was never going to catch it, but I think that's the big thing now for Crewe, isn't it? It's trying to get those throw-ins, trying to get those set pieces, because I think that's the only way that they're going to win this game in the extra time.
The Crewe is settled for penalties right now. Doncaster, not so much. 6 minutes to go. Doncaster 0, Crewe 2. It's been that way since 16 minutes. We've now played 114. Here's Molyneux on the right-hand side of the penalty area. I wonder if the script is written for a big moment here for George Miller on his long-awaited comeback. Kirk claimed that he was fouled. He wasn't. Adelakun, low ball in. Miller looking for it, scoops it up, ends up on the roof of the net. And out of play for a goal kick. No deflection as he claimed it will be a goal kick.
Yeah, that's what all the players and fans are asking for, but he does well with his movement. The little dart to the front post in the end, and then I think he's asking for a deflection off turns, but either way, referee not interested.
Goal kick to Stryak. 5 minutes to go. In the automatic promotion spots in early March, they finished the season with only 10 points from their last 12 league games. They conceded over that time almost 3 times as many goals as they conceded. Donny, for their part, finished 10-2-0 through their last 12 games. So, whilst Crewe picked up 10 points, Doncaster picked up 32. And what was a 17-place deficit between the two ended up in Doncaster finishing above Crewe by a point, by a place and on goal difference. Doncaster 5th, Crewe 6th, and it's that that's given home advantage to Doncaster for this second leg. They've lost possession here. Osterfield with a turn on the edge of the penalty area. Osterfield rolling it to his right-hand side. Holicek wins the corner. And another set-piece opportunity for Crewe. Everybody will go back for Doncaster. And Grant McCann turns away. He can barely watch with the game in the 117th minute.
Well, that's just, you can see it's fatigue, it's tired legs. Donny giving the ball away, and Crewe do well to pounce on it. But again, the ball just doesn't quite settle. They can't get it in the area that they want and manage to get a corner from it. And what a time this would be for Crewe to score.
Goal now surely spells Wembley at either end of the pitch. In comes the corner, it's very deep, punched away by Lotitala, only out for Holicek, and he's tried the high tariff right-footed tipping effort and got it all wrong. Out of play, goal kick, 3 to go, 2-0 to Crewe, and penalties fast approaching.
Yeah, it was one of those, he knew as soon as he hit it, it was nowhere near being on target. Livid with himself, and they're the ones you just need to pop back in the box, try and make it a fight scene, because you know you've got players up from the first phase of the corner but makes the wrong decision.
Yeah, optimistic temper man who's only scored 1 senior goal in his career. Promising many more to come, mine. Donny working forward, flicked on Ironside, trying to get it in towards Miller, only found the goalkeeper. That's Strike again, just that goes through his routine of running the few seconds down. And that's probably his highest kick of the night. Real high up and under. And the eyes by the floodlights as you look into him to watch the trace of the ball, the parabola as it comes down into Doncaster territory. Play for by Osterfield. That is some pass. Out towards the right-hand side of the penalty area. Baker Richardson with an effort. It hit one of the Doncaster defenders. Then Lee goes down inside the penalty area and Crew thought that should be a penalty. Referee didn't. Doncaster bring it forward. And Delican, right in the first challenge, which was an attempt to foul him. Level the edge of the penalty area. Pops off through the midfield for Craig. Bailey back out of the left. Delican couldn't find his man and it's clear. Goes out towards that far touchline for Anderson, and Doncaster will bring it forward again. Should it have been a penalty?
What I always go for is the player's reaction, and I don't think there was a big enough reaction from Lee for me to think it was a penalty. And then the other end, Delican's got to put the ball in earlier.
He puts that one in. Now he's looking for Miller, he can't find it. Ball's here, right-footed effort, takes a deflection. It might have been going in. Adebisi gets his head to it, denies Bailey, and as we tick into the 120th minute, it's a Doncaster corner. Molyneux will take it. No thought of waving the goalkeeper up. Far too much to lose. But Molyneux to take it. Get this corner right, and they're in the playoff final. Anderson is forward, Wood is forward, hit in very deep, Wood nodding it back in, and the goalkeeper Strike has caught it. And by the time he's back on his feet, we'll have about 20 seconds plus stoppage time to go. Looks as though it's going to penalties. Cliff Burns just gone across to the fourth official, Thomas Kirk, to ask how many extra minutes it's going to be. Maybe another 2, might only be 1. Long clearance from Stryak. High ball forwards and nodded by a tiring Wood. At 38, he's done well to get 120 minutes out of those legs. And clearance from Oluwu goes out for a throw that will be taken on the Crew left by Adebisi. Just 1 more minute. Adebisi to take this throw. It's in Doncaster territory. Can they win a corner? That might be how they will try and approach this. Throw taken short, dropped in the feet of Lee. Back to Kirk. Lee takes over. Reverse ball down the left-hand side of the penalty area. But it bypasses Holycheck, goes out of play for a goal kick. 30 seconds to go. Lotatala in a hurry to get on with it. Clatters it upfield, deep into Crew territory. First ball won by a Crew defender, turned forward then by Osterfield. Baker Richardson chases after it. Is he going to take it down towards the corner flag just to get it out of harm's way? Will he be able to fashion one last opportunity? Has pulled the ball back on that right-hand side of the penalty area for Lee. He can't deliver, but Cooney can. Right foot is swept in, behind, out of play for a goal kick, and that'll be that. It's penalties to decide this playoff semi-final. Courtney Baker Richardson stands with the ball on the palm of his right hand. He's being made to wait here by Lotatala, who stands on the edge of the 6-yard box, and the referee just tells him to get back on his line. Now Lotatala is jogging on the spot, and Baker Richardson waits, hands on hips. Boos and whistles from the Doncaster fans. Baker Richardson, right-footed, good penalty into the top right-hand corner. He eventually got a hand to it, but the power beat him, and Crew score there first.
Yeah, it's a brilliant penalty and exactly what Crew needed. The way that Baker Richardson, he lifts it, finding that top right-hand corner, opens up his body out, and it's a really good penalty to start out the shootout.
Home lights are being shone by the Crew fans in the eyes of the Doncaster penalty takers as they take it. Joe Ironside is going to take the first one for Doncaster. Ironside stands patiently waiting for the instruction. The referee actually quite close to the ball. Now he backs away. So it's going to be Ironside, and now he comes back in again. What's he spotted here? Lotatala, the goalkeeper, is just in dialogue with the Doncaster fans, and that's what the referee wasn't happy with. And he was just asking him to move to a wider position outside the penalty area, and that has just caused this delay for his teammate here, Ironside. So Ironside are tied up at 1-1. That's a really good penalty. Most of each penalty will go to the bottom left. Committed the goalkeeper and then scuffed it, but no problems, into the other corner. Really good penalty, 1-1 after one apiece.
Yeah, especially considering the weight as well. The fact that they've got the composure just to see where the goalkeeper goes, slot it the other way. Such a high pressure situation anyway, let alone with the little break in play there.
So next up is going to be Mickey Dimitriou, who scored the first goal of the night for Crewe. And he will spot the ball down. Now the phone lights are being shone in the other end of that north stand, but only by a few isolated Doncaster supporters. Dimitriou will take this left-footed, and he runs up to it. The diving Lututala, who's gone to his right-hand side. He guessed right, and it wasn't quite hit quickly enough to get past him into the corner. And if Donny score this penalty, they have the advantage.
Yeah, it's a really good save. The fact that the goalkeeper gets down so quickly to his right-hand side, and as you mentioned from Dimitriou, it wasn't fast enough and it wasn't far enough in the corner.
Zane Westbrook came off the bench for Donny. He's going to take their second. A right-footed runner. Oh, it's saved. Tipped on to the inside of the post. He didn't get hold of it at all. The goalkeeper went the right way, got a left hand to it. It's hit the post. It's rolled almost along the line to safety. And it's one apiece after two penalties each.
Wow, incredible. It was so accurate down to the keeper's left, that bottom right-hand corner of the goal. But not enough power on it. The keeper does well to tip it onto the post, and then you're thinking, is it going to cross the line? It just seems to skip across it and away to safety.
Ryan Cooney has won these playoffs before when he was a Morecambe player. Can he get Crewe that little bit closer to the final? Yes, he can. He walked up to it, waiting for the goalkeeper to dive, and nonchalantly rolled it into the bottom right-hand corner past him.
I'll tell you what, that is a great penalty under pressure. A little bit of the Jorginho about it. Just say starts with a walk, quickens up, and then just takes that little skip just before he hits it, opens the body out in that bottom right-hand corner. It's a really good pen.
George Miller, in his 9 months in the treatment room here at Doncaster, will have been envisaging the opportunity to make himself a hero late in this campaign. He's got the chance now to keep parity in the shootout. Miller, right-footed, yes, it's in. Goalkeeper again went the right way, and Miller's heart was in his mouth. There was an absolute silence for about half a second. He squeezed that through the goalkeeper. He was only just in, but it's two apiece.
The goalkeeper's going to be so disappointed. Goes the right way. Again, a penalty with not a lot of power on it, and it just struggles underneath the goalkeeper. As you say, that half a second, and then it's in the back of the net.
Next up, Lewis Lee, and his right-footed penalty sends the goalkeeper the wrong way. That was a really good penalty as well, because he motioned that he was going to go to the bottom left-hand corner of the goal, and then he skewed his foot across the ball and dragged it hard the other way.
Yeah, it's a good penalty, but Lututala, I don't think, helps himself there. Just moves that little bit too early and gives Lee the opportunity just to face the goalkeeper up and slot it the opposite way.
Leaves Owen Bailey up next to make it 3 apiece after 4 penalties each. And he runs up right-footed and puts it into the bottom left-hand corner. Such a mixed bag of penalties in this shootout. We've seen some great ones. We've seen some pretty poor ones as well. Both sides have missed one. It's 3-3, and we're effectively now in sudden death.
Yeah, and this is where the pressure really is on Kirk here. Walking up, he knows now how important this is. The 5th penalty, it's always a big one.
Nobody in this Crewe side has played anything like the number of games for the club that Charlie Kirk has. In his white boots, Stands, looks nervous, runs up to it right-footed, and again the goalkeeper goes so early, which makes it easy for Kirk to roll it into the bottom right-hand corner past him. Doncaster have got to score this to keep their season alive.
It's absolutely massive, but you're right, Jim, again, Lototala just goes far too early, shows his hand, and then it's easier, won't say easy because it's a big penalty, easier for Kirk to slot it the opposite side.
So fifth up, Haki Badelican for Doncaster, player on loan from Lincoln. Doncaster have had this extraordinary run over the last couple of months, but their season only continues if he scores. He runs up right-footed, save! And it's Crew! Alexandra the Great! They've done it in the most unlikely circumstances. Crew Alexandra, written off after that first leg defeat, have knocked Doncaster Rovers out in the playoffs. The most extraordinary promotion story will not be written here. And it's Crew, 2-0 down from the first leg, written off by everybody, and they've come back to win tonight 2-0 after extra time, and they've won it 4-3 on penalties with a save from a man brought in on the emergency loan 6 weeks ago, Max Stryek. What a moment for him, what a moment for Crew Alexandra, but heartbreak for Doncaster after their extraordinary 2024.